Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to episode 14 of Blood on the Thames, a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle set in London, England. With me tonight,
Carlos playing Moses of Clan Nosferatu.
Peter playing Benjamin the Malkavian.
Rachel, and I'm playing Katya of Clan Tremere.
I'm Philip, I'm playing Jim Roy Woods of Clan Gangrel.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed their Christmas and New Year's break. I'm pretty certain we all did. And leaping straight back into it, guys, with the recap from episode 13.
So on our last episode, fellow Nosferatu Agnes took us, the coterie, back into the warrens between Reading and London.
And after some time of trekking through tunnel after tunnel, Benjamin had a vision of them taking a particular tunnel under Agnes's direction, and then a monster, a nightmarish creature, kind of trapping them in the tunnel and essentially starting to murder and destroy everybody. And he was so freaked out that whilst Agnes didn't believe him, she did take a different route.
After this point, we realised that we were being followed by a shadowy figure. We supposed this could possibly be the monster from Benjamin's vision, so we pressed on. And as we made our way through the warrens, it became apparent that there was yet another figure following us around, although this one didn't look quite the same.
Oh yeah. And eventually we made our way into where we needed to go, and the Nosferatu servers were destroyed. No hard drives could have been recovered. Everything was burned, or most of it, and Moses managed to retrieve a file from a connection that he could manage to make in that area.
At that point, a different Nosferatu appeared and persuaded Moses to sneak away with him. They used terms like canite and are looking for a comrade of theirs. And when they discover poor little Foggy, they break his little neck.
So, of course, Moses goes into a frenzy and tries his best to destroy these creatures, but it's outnumbered 4-1, easily incapacitated and sent into torpor.
And then we eventually all catch up with Moses, find him in the state. We revive him, and we have to press onwards, taking the same path on that these mysterious characters seem to have taken, as we attempt to escape the warrens.
Okay. So, in the aftermath of this meeting with these three Nosferatu, Moses, having recently recovered from his staking and his gorging on the remains of his faithful companion, Foggy, has shared briefly his experience with the rest of the coterie, and after confronting Agnes, who professes to know nothing about what you're on about, tells you that the quickest way to get back is through the tunnels which they've gone. Alternatively, you could double back and go back the way that you had gone. It was at Moses' insistence that they follow on down these potentially more dangerous tunnels.
I did reason that sunrise is coming, so it's either pressing onwards or staying the night.
Okay.
No more sleepover.
So, with a long stretch of tunnel heading down past this room with the bloody smears upon the ground, you all press on into the darkness. Agnes very reluctantly moving forwards with Moses, who you've not seen Moses like this before. He's got a almost cocky, uncaring swagger to the way that he's going about it. Even when he's hacking his way through system after system, or sneaking his way into buildings that no mortal person could do with the level of finesse he does, there's not this level of uncaringness in how he's proceeding. So as you guys all move to catch up to him, what do you all do?
I'm going to slip up to Agnes and hand her the shovel I've been carrying.
Okay. Agnes kind of looks around at you. She's still got she's terrified, and clearly terrified, and she has been since, you guys have arrived, and seems to be getting more so, even in the proximity of the warrens and the way that Moses has been slinging his accusations at her. She kind of looks around at you, and there's almost like an asking to the way that she's staring at you, and then she looks at the shovel and then back at you, and then just reaches out and like takes it from you, and then kind of clutches it like it's a life-saving device as she's just kind of like heading down this passage.
I've checked the gun's safety that I've just been handed, and
Yep, the weapon's still working. The weapon's still functioning. There's not many rounds in it, but it's there. There is an option should you need it.
Yep.
Is there anything else you guys want to do before you progress?
Oh, double check my satchel with the equipment that I have and the diskettes and things.
Well, the equipment having been left in that room before you were taken aside by these three Nosferatu. Well, by this Nosferatu, it's been untouched. The floppy disk that you did have was taken, but did you take the floppy disk in with you?
I left it with my satchel.
Right, then it's still with you. Everything is still there.
When I went just myself and Foggy.
Okay.
So the floppy is still
with you.
With me. Yeah, I just secured it with me.
Okay.
I've pocketed the stake as well.
All right. So, you and Agnes are going to lead your way through these passages.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just put on my brass knuckles and walk.
All right. Then in that case,
Lit up a cigarette even.
and a cigarette as well.
Yeah.
Wow, going whole hog, Moses. Okay, so I need intelligence and investigation from you again. You'll get a +1 from Agnes.
Sorry? An additional one from Agnes? I'm gonna get you killed, guys.
That's exactly
That
what I
is 4 successes.
Okay. For the next 6 hours, you guys all proceed down this straight corridor of stonework. Faded, damp-smelling, worn-away stonework, which just seems endless in how it progresses. And the torches that you carry with you almost seem insufficient to penetrate the darkness ahead of you, but you press on regardless. And now and again there are turnings going off, but every single time Moses glances over towards them, Agnes just nods and just directs her way forwards. And you continue going further and further. This doesn't seem to be leading east, back towards Lucky Jake's Warrens, but this is the way that she's directing you. And you continue going on, and then eventually, just as you are coming towards the end of this period, and even now, with the fact that you guys are undead, your legs are still feeling that kind of heaviness that comes with just the dullness of the muscles just being overworked. There's no acidic build-up or anything similar, but you can still feel it. And just when you're coming towards the end of this passage of time, she suddenly stops you, nods towards Moses without saying a word, and she hasn't said a word since you've left that passage, and just gestures down one of the turnings that veer off and then suddenly descends.
I thought we were supposed to be going up.
Nah, sometimes you have to bounce, and you do it from the bottom. Come on.
Are you following?
Yep.
Okay.
As long as
Keep it.
Moses is in front.
Keep a lookout around behind as well as much as I can.
Okay. Roll perception plus awareness.
I would obviously be seeing the
Are you
unseen.
towards the back as well?
I think I'm second from the back.
Yeah.
Is that
I'm kind of in the middle, I guess.
I think-
That's wits and awareness, right?
I'm probably next to
You're
you. though.
probably
Yeah.
together in the middle, and
Wits
then
plus awareness,
We're
and
both
then
trying not to be at the back.
I mean, I will be looking because obviously I'm worried we're being followed. So my attention is kind of because by that mysterious figure,
Okay, yeah, all three of you roll that then.
and I've got my heightened sense. Sorry, it's going to take me a moment because I've got to get my brand new vampire dice out.
had to.
We
Right.
can't wait till the rest of ours arrive. Because,
Okay. So,
although I am very, very happy with that roll.
wits, did you say? Yeah.
Wits plus awareness.
Critical win. Total
Do I get
Oh, wow,
to include
geeky.
heightened
Critical win
senses
5.
dice in that as well?
5 successes.
5 total.
That is 2 successes over here.
First one loses here. Critical, yes. Starts with me to go on.
Only gets worse though.
Yeah, probably. I did get one.
Such pessimism.
Yeah.
That's tasty.
3.
Okay. You guys, even though you are glancing back behind you, there is the dread drawing your eyes back towards the front, towards not only because a member of your company seems pretty driven with questionable motives in terms of progression, and being the more sensible of the coterie, you are actively checking on Moses. But Jim, your concern is back the way you came. And even as those two kind of glance back, you don't hear anything or see anything. But Jim, every now and again, you hear an echo going off in the distance, and it's the faintest echo. But it does draw your attention, and then finally you stop and listen, and you can hear the sound of what's very distant metal scraping on stone, and then thrashing on stone, and then nothing.
We need to move faster.
Why? What's happening?
I think there's something behind us. Not good. Just keep going.
Well, we know there's something behind us.
Yeah, not like it.
I'll hurry up.
Okay. I need another roll from you. Still the +1 from Agnes.
I'm so hungry.
This is how we die. That is
not today.
3, 4, 5, 5 successes.
What is it with everyone today?
5 successes.
Yeah.
Veering off down this passage, it begins narrowing substantially to the point where you all have to adopt once more that position of hunchedness going down, and it slows your passage significantly. But you begin that descent without comment, without remark. Jim, every now and again, glancing back behind you, trying to listen to that sound, and you can't pinpoint it again. And it sounded a very, very good distance away from you, but it was distinct in that there was nothing else that you could hear coming from that direction, and that was a purposefully made sound. Or rather, it was an unnatural sound. You two in particular keep your eyes going forward, and every now and again you notice a branching of a passage, and once or twice it branches off at multiple intersections. And if you were down here on your own, it was very unclear which way you're going. But Agnes, the only time she seems uncertain is when you come to a number of passages which will branch off in various different directions, some going up, some going down, some going level, and she'll stop and she'll consider them. But then, after a few moments reflection, she'll nod and Moses will just barrel on forwards, and she'll keep pace with her shovel clutch to her, keeping you away. Every now and again you guys feel the momentary dread as your flashlights flicker and then go out and then come back on, signalling the end of the life of the batteries, and after a few moments you change over of the 4 that you had with you before, and then you keep going. And then finally the passage opens out, and it's a very narrow chamber, again keeping yourselves hunched, but it branches out in a horizontal way, and you can just see in front of you blackness going forwards, and it almost seems to go up and then dip down. And then Agnes stops. And all 3 of you, and you, wits plus awareness, please.
Is this like an observation again? As in, does heightened sense?
Sorry. Yeah, all 3 of you. Katya, what did you get?
I got 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay.
But I do have see the unseen.
No, all 4 of you.
Okay.
I got 1, 2, 3.
That's a crit.
It's crit win. So I basically got 7 successes.
I got 1.
4.
Fucking hell.
I got 1, so.
Okay. So 4, 3, 7.
Yeah, 4 plus 3, 7. Yeah.
Jim, your attention is firmly back on the passage you came. And you guys hear up ahead the soft scuttling of rock upon rock. And it draws your attention straight over, but Benjamin is looking instead almost directly off towards the left, and he's just staring at something. And it takes him a moment. At this particular point, Benjamin, even hours later, you're still questioning what you're seeing. Everything that you are appraising, you are thinking, am I going to wake up 5 minutes previous? But thus far, everything has just been running as normal. But your gaze is drawn over towards the edge, where you can see numerous insects crawling over the edges of the wall, but they seem to be keeping pace with where you're moving. It's not a natural movement. They're not littering the entirety of it, and there shouldn't be these kind of insects this far down. Certainly not flies and similar. Not in this barren landscape of stone. But they're there, coating the wall, and they are keeping pace. They're not going any further than you.
Okay, I'll say. So I'll be staring. I'll say, I think those insects are following us.
I immediately look at Agnes. step back behind them, where the flashlights are not in my direction, and I use the darkness, the cover of darkness, to obfuscate.
Okay.
And I just go like, we're being spied upon.
Okay. So these guys can see you, or have you stepped out and then?
I stepped out of the light completely.
Okay. So you guys will watch Moses, and he.
Can I see him?
Yeah, you can still see Moses as he steps back and says this. You guys all glance back towards the shadows, and you can tell from the slight way that their eyes flicker back and forth, although searching, that he has now vanished from sight. But you can still see him, although slightly hazed around the edges of himself. Agnes is still very much crouched there, just clutching the shovel, looking towards these insects. And she doesn't seem to know what to do. She just seems to...
I whisper to Jim, far in the back, like, remember what I did with the rats?
Yep.
Some Nosferatus can control insects.
So can my clan.
And then I move away from Jim.
Okay.
Like very low whispers, things that would not break my obfuscate.
Are you guys still at the front of the passage?
Yeah.
Because the passage itself was narrow and it came down to a point. And then the ceiling has stayed where it was, but the edges of this tunnel are suddenly branched out, and it is just a long horizontal passage going forwards.
Like a slit.
But you are at this point pretty much doubled down to the degree where you are led out almost horizontal, but still on your feet,
And where are the insects in relation to us?
off towards the left, along the wall that runs the length of this chamber going forwards. They're just there.
So
And
they're not-
as you've moved forward into the room, they've kept pace with you and they've stopped when you have finally noticed them.
Okay.
But Agnes is held back. She's not moving. She's just staring at them. Like, clearly this is all building towards, and every single new development seems to be stalling her further. But then you're also getting a sense, not only because of your senses, your heightened senses combined. This is a very claustrophobic passage, and the more tightly the spaces go, the slower she seems to be going.
Rouse check for the obfuscate. Go to hunger 2.
I think I'm gonna get one of my cans of spray paint ready.
Okay.
How many of those you have?
I'll hand you the other one. Actually, I won't, 'cause I can't see you.
Oh, can I have one?
Well, I'll hand it to you then.
How many do you have?
I forgot 2. I think I.
This is green, right? Nice.
What do you want to do? Moses is Agnes. Sorry, is not moving. The culmination of seeing these insects, the space becoming even more compact. She is.
You have a plan, Ben?
Not really.
I know. And I put my lighter, my simple lighter, on his pocket.
On his pocket.
On Ben's pocket.
Okay.
Or in his hand. Like softly.
I think I know what you're thinking. I don't know if I like what you're thinking.
It's worth noting, the very idea
Yeah.
of what he's suggesting is terrifying to you, not only because it seems really, really unsafe. There is a primal part of you which is thinking confined passage,
Yeah, no.
billowing flame.
No, I'm just not doing it.
Towards the insects.
Would you rather I do it?
Yes.
Go on, Em.
I'll hand him the lighter, and I'm moving away from him.
And the
away. Oh, I'll give him the can as well. Come back.
Go.
Is this really wise?
I don't think so. I'm going far away.
Well, have you got a better idea?
Are you
Oh,
having
we've
this
only been
discussion?
thinking for about a minute.
I'm backing off.
Yeah, but
I'm walking towards the exit, like the way we were going. Not
Where
back.
you're going.
Where we were going.
Okay.
I'm going
Yeah.
out ahead, scouting without them knowing. So I'm gonna literally stealth my way forwards, see what's in front of us. I'm gonna
I'll-
scout ahead, like taking advantage of my unseen passage.
Well, these guys seem determined, so I'm just gonna pull Agnes safely.
probably good.
Oh.
Okay. The moment you grab her, she flinches. And
I don't grab her.
No, the moment you make
Okay.
you make contact with her, she flinches and seems to not fully snap out of whatever's like currently gripping her, but she kind of stares at you wide-eyed as though she's confused to find you there, but she lets herself be guided, but her gaze is still on those insects.
Agnes, it's okay. Jim's just going to do something stupid.
She nods and then just veers off with you, crouching down further as
So
Jim begins
are
crawling.
you going like in, or are you going out?
I think I'm just. Well, he's got to go in to spray the
You're going to
box.
have to branch off to be able to get to
So
the
I'm
access.
just stepping back a little bit and keeping
Yeah,
an eye.
I'm going to be backing
So
with
we're
it
three of us
Yeah.
together.
I'm going to be
heroically.
clicking the lighter. Bad idea. And just not full spray, just sort of little.
Okay. I need you to do a willpower check for me.
Okay. Just.
I have the perfect excuse. If I do it, I leave obfuscate. I don't want to do it. I want to remain. obfuscate.
That's just the.
Willpower, what you currently have. Everybody would have recovered superficial willpower, by the way, before you make this roll.
Hey.
Moses, I need you to roll wits plus investigation.
Oh,
That's 3.
3. Okay. The moment there's a spark, your hand tightens noticeably upon the can, and you can hear as the can begins crunching underfoot. But the moment that the spray touches the flame, there is a billowing of fire spreading out away from him. And if he was stood anywhere close to you all, you would have felt the full effects. You two in particular, with your heightened senses, catch the burning light of this, and you're forced to turn away and glance away as it goes. And you feel that tightening in your chest as the beast just begins recoiling inwardly. But the flame goes out, and the moment it makes contact with the bugs, you hear the as the bugs just pop and burst from the flame, and then you just watch as the very small carcasses of flies and bugs just fall off the wall.
Just try and get them all.
Yeah. Given the
many as
confined
possible.
nature of this passage, you just spread it slowly across the wall, and you just watch as they all begin burning and falling. Some try and scuttle off, but you manage to catch them in the spray.
So Ben, very very quick history lesson here. The ones we don't want to deal with, they kind of have a weird relationship with fire. They're probably more okay with it than we are.
Moses, you're heading off ahead, and you hear the kind of gasp coming from one of their throats from behind you as the fire is let forth. But you don't look around, even though your own beast begins recoiling. You're not even looking at the flame, but it begins kind of becoming tense and fearful as you begin scuttling forward. And then as you're moving further down this passage, you suddenly stop as you feel something pull on the base of your foot, and as you glance down, there is a flash of light towards your right, and you blink and look away, and then as you kind of pierce around, you catch a very small silhouette of a box pointed towards you, and it flashes again, and then flashes again, and you can't look at it because of the sheer brightness of this flashing going on.
how far away is it?
About 15 feet, but the stark contrast between the blackness of this tunnel and the brightness of this light going off periodically. And then another one goes off across, and as you two look around towards the sound of boing, boing, the moment your eyes catch it, I need you both to roll. Can I borrow a book, please? Because you both have heightened awareness.
Oh, I didn't put that on his desk originally. I don't have heightened senses though.
No, but
No.
I don't actually have it.
Which one of you does? Is it
I
just
do.
Benjamin?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Benjamin that needs to roll this.
so it's resolve and
Just double checking, because there is one to ensure that you don't look at something that's going to completely screw you up. What are you other guys doing?
I think it's wits and resolve. I think.
I think
I
it is.
I'm gonna be approaching the light to make sure it's not a camera.
It is wits and resolve.
Okay.
Instead of being
4.
Okay. The moment that you hear going off and you glance around, you catch the very painful last seconds of the flash, and in that moment of you glancing around, you catch silhouetted perfectly an old camera, one of the old style models with the light going forward, the big bright flash. And the moment you catch it, you close your eye just as it illuminates the passage. Katia, as you're looking around, shielding your eye, you catch the silhouette of a figure just shuffling closer and closer towards the peripheral, towards Jim.
Are you still flamethrower?
From the direction that you are headed.
Yeah. Someone up ahead. Are you still?
I've probably just not done that. I'll take a moment.
Jim.
Okay. Are you still flaming?
If there are any more bikes there, I'm still flaming. If not, then I'm done.
The moment that you've stopped, you feel the yanking on the back of the fabric, which is... it would be comedic the way that you smash your head on the ceiling from the way she pulls you back. But the moment you veer around and the flash goes off down the tunnel, I need everyone to make a wits plus awareness check with a -2. You've still got your...
Height senses.
Yep. What's your height? What is your Auspex rating?
2.
Right, -4 for you.
So -4.
Yeah.
Me as well.
-2 for everyone else.
So wits and
-2
awareness.
for everyone else. With he gets his Auspex penalty on top.
2 successes.
2.
Let me just think about this.
I got 1.
Plus awareness, but -4.
3 successes.
Okay.
And actually, I've just realised I'm at another penalty, so... Nothing. That's quite good, because I'm 100 dice. Quite pleased about that.
Okay. So, you all managed to catch, despite the rhythmic, persistent flashing of this camera, which is blinding you to everything further down the passage. Particularly Moses, who is the closest to them. He kind of huddles in on himself and looks back at you, and you can just see in your peripheral the flash and then blackness, flash and then blackness. And you all see, moving slowly towards Jim, a hideous hunched figure just creeping closer and closer. Not mass to the degree where you guys can't see him. The moment you look around, you do see him. He's not making any particular pretense at trying to stay quiet beyond using what noise you guys are naturally making and from your discussion just to progress. And then the moment that he sees you all looking towards him, he just stops. And then the smile just forms very, very slowly. Almost the length of his face, the way he goes up, and he just cocks his head. This is quite very, very clearly a Nosferatu. And the way that he's moving through these tunnels, the way that his head is naturally bent, it seems perfectly fit for these tunnels. Either that or he's just so used to doing them that he can move this length of the room at speed. But he stops the moment you all see him and just cocks his head and just stares. Moses doesn't look like any of the other ones that you've seen before.
Okay. What's Agnes' reaction?
She is still completely out of it.
Hasn't seen him?
No, she's looking towards the carcasses of the bugs.
Okay.
She doesn't even seem fazed by the flashing of the camera. At this point, she seems very much... She's gone inwards towards herself and is largely unresponsive to anything that's not Katia physically moving her.
Okay, I approach the guy from behind. Just since I am further ahead.
Are you being quiet about it, or are you just...
Yes, very, very quiet. I'm being very sneaky, and I'm still obfuscated.
Dex. Yeah,
even though there's all this light, I'm obfuscated.
Dex plus stealth.
Yeah.
And I'm there aiming the gun at this.
You're aiming at it.
Just, who are you?
Non-browse.
Bad idea. But...
That is two. Well,
That
this
was
is
cocked.
yeah. So far, 2 successes. Yes,
Okay.
2 successes.
He doesn't seem to respond to you making your way closer towards him. And Katia, you can see Moses slowly shifting closer and closer from behind this figure. But he's still staring at you all, smiling. And the moment Jim turns the spray towards him, he just looks down at it, looks up at Jim expectantly, and then just sits cross-legged in this small passage. And then just goes...
Who are you?
Kind of look at Ben just in case he's gone glassy-eyed and is seeing into the future and inevitable demise again.
No, I'm just kind of looking. I will occasionally glance almost over my shoulder, like I'm half expecting someone to be coming behind us or something.
Can't see anything behind you. It's very difficult to kind of look at him because he's still ahead of you three towards where the flashing is still going off. So every now and again you kind of have to look in anticipation of the flashing light.
Yeah.
It's very painful, very painful for you.
I'll stop height senses.
Right, the moment you stop it, black. Save for the... and the illumination of this figure just now and again doing
What
this.
about the torches? Are they still...
You should have the torches,
Yeah.
but the torches by comparison to the width of this chamber are not sufficient to cover everything at once.
Yeah.
And going from seeing everything to blackness...
Oh yeah, I don't like it.
It's like the moment you drop it, your instinctive result is your instinctive response is to no.
But yeah, okay. In that case, I'll
You don't have to, but it's like a natural.
No, I think Benjamin will. The idea of actually suddenly realising what it's like to be in the dark here is not a cool thing. So I think he
and
will.
it is immensely claustrophobic,
Yeah.
particularly to someone that is so aware of their space.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I will go with my instincts and just be uncomfortable. And I'll probably just not be looking very much at this. I'll be kind of turning my head slightly away from this.
The closer you get, you can smell it smells almost septic and kind of rotten, but it doesn't seem to be coming from him so much as the air around him. It's weird. It's weird in that you're able to kind of there's something jarring about this individual as you're creeping closer to him. And he is completely hairless, and the skin almost seems pulled back to the point where his eyes, from the top of the eyes going up, are sunken, but underneath they seem like there's too much flesh that hasn't been pulled back with the rest of it. He's very distinct in that he appears to be someone that is grossly overweight from points downwards, and on the other side it seems like his skin's been pulled taut and that his body is too big for the flesh sack that covers it.
Okay.
And the way that he's bent, it seems like almost everything leans to the left.
Okay.
And he just keeps gesturing for them to come closer. And even his finger is just
Crooked and slanted, yeah. I just stand behind him within striking distance, making sure that he doesn't do anything sudden towards them. If he's going to jump or whatever, I'll try to catch him. Or if he's going to start running or whatever, I'll trip him or something. I'm just wary, so I'm just looking at his every move.
Is there much space around him? Is it possible just to walk past?
Oh yeah, he's at the edge of the room. He was moving towards Jim as he was flaming. So you have an entire you got a good 30 feet away from where he is to the other side of the room that you could go down if you wanted to.
Because what I'd quite like to do is, because the cameras are pointing assumably kind of straight ahead.
Yeah, back down the passage where you've come from.
Yeah. So the cameras currently in front of us, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it possible if I move to the side, would I still be in the? Obviously, the light flash will still be going on, but will I still be in the camera's view of the camera itself? I don't know if the camera is actually operating or not.
The cameras are still going off.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're every few seconds they're flashing.
Okay. Well, and they're old-fashioned, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
The ones that make a high-pitched whine as they go off them.
So I think I'm going to move to the side and start moving, kind of. In fact, actually, I'm going to be a bit more ridiculous than that. I'm going to back off a little bit until I'm not obviously with him, and then I'm going to become unseen.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Do you roll hunger dice for rouse on a?
Yeah,
He is currently
presence
watching
or-
you.
Yeah.
He's watching you.
Oh, he's watching me right now. Yeah, but could I retreat out of his line of sight? No, stuff it. I'll just go around the side. I'll go around the side.
Every time you move, he kind of shuffles. You can hear the scraping of his ass on the floor as he kind of shuffles to watch you. He's making no move to stop you. He's just watching you all go, and he's still smiling. And every now and again, as soon as he catches your eye again, he just...
I'll say... I assume that there'll be a point at which I'm moving kind of past him, even if it's at a distance. So I'll say...
You're a good distance away from him. You're as far away from him as you want to be within 30 feet.
Okay, probably about 30 feet.
So you can feel the cold dampness of the wall behind you as you're scraping past it.
Yeah.
Going closer and closer towards the cameras. And the moment you put yourself between him and the camera so that he's looking over towards him, he just clicks a button and the cameras go out.
At this point, I'd probably step to be in line with the gym. Is this your home? Have you seen others come through here?
I'll take a step or two towards him, hesitant.
His smile goes wider.
Say, do you know what happened here?
Glances slowly around the room, and then over towards the carcasses of bugs, and then looks over towards Jim and just points.
Were those yours? We're dreadfully sorry for that. For stepping into your home and intruding so much.
We've had a rather difficult encounter with some people who I don't think's home is here, and so we're a little nervous. I'll maybe go another step. Not wanting to be rude.
He reaches out and grabs your hand and just holds it. And he seems to be relishing the physical contact, but doesn't actually say or do anything. But there's a strength behind his grip, which is... It's not painful, he's not gripping you painfully, but he's making contact. And he just seems... The smile just kind of softens slightly. It stays strong, but he's making intense eye contact as he's just holding you in place.
So I don't think you were... There was another survivor. So... I know that if you lived here, this must be a very bad time for you. But you're. We've come to see if anyone else is anyone else apart from the ones we know about. Is it just you down here who lived here? Oh dear.
Did you speak to the others that came through, or did you show yourself to them?
His head cants a bit wider, almost as though he's...
Can you talk?
He pokes out his tongue and it's cut at the back. It's like, it looks, again, like one side is thicker than the other. But the way it flops out, it's been jagged and cut.
Are those your cameras?
And he reaches for your hand again.
Yeah, I'll wait. Yeah. I'll pat him on the arm a bit, kind of.
He immediately kind of veers in towards the touch. It's almost like a dog that's missing like physical contact with his mask, kind of pitches in towards you, and he shuffles closer. So he's almost, you're still like hunched over in this passage, but he's like now nestled in his lap. It's very uncomfortable for you, where one, because of how narrow this passage is, but also because of the sudden close proximity of something that reeks and is physically repulsive, but he grips you and just kind of nuzzles in.
I think I'll turn off heightened senses for a while. I'm going to brave the darkness.
It lessens from what was horrifically distracting to now just repulsive. But he seems nestled in, and the close proximity of Benjamin, the smile is just soft. And he's just now looking between you all as he's slowly stroking the back of Benjamin's hand.
I'm just smiling. Those cameras are in awfully good condition. You must take very good care of them. I don't suppose you got any pictures of the ones that came through here before us. Could we see them? Would that be all right?
Make a charisma plus persuasion check.
Yes!
Actually,
And you thought we didn't need anyone social for this.
I'm
Come
gonna
on.
pocket the lighter. Turn off the lighter. Pocket it and the can. Different pockets.
Okay.
Different pockets.
Yes. That's right, I think. Yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
6. The moment you say this, there's a brief hesitation where he kind of looks between you all and then looks over at the cameras, and then he looks over at Benjamin, strokes his hand one last time, and moves out of his lap and begins scuttling away. There's no other word to describe it. He scuttles and then he stops and then gestures over for Benjamin again.
So I'll start to go after him, and I will say,
Hell?
You're doing wonderful. Okay.
I'll go back over to it.
Grabs you by the hand and begins leading. And towards the end of this passage, where it finishes veering downwards, it splits. It almost comes to the point where you begin having to kind of steady yourself on the wall to stop your feet from slipping out underneath you, and then comes to a level and the ceiling finally, mercifully veers upwards, giving you the space to stretch out. But he stays at the same level he was at, not seeming to notice the sudden airy space above him, and remaining clutched at Benjamin starts veering off down towards the left, towards another passage, and you can glance at it and immediately your heart, Benjamin, sinks. It's even smaller than the one you've just come out of.
As I go, I'm gonna,
even more confined.
As I go, I'm gonna grab Agnes and try and pull her after.
Are you physically pulling her, or are you just guiding her?
I'm trying to guide, but
she's going. It's not like she's catatonic. She is
Okay.
responsive to what you're doing, but she just doesn't seem to be responding socially to you or saying anything. She just seems observing everything without giving outward response to anything that's not like a kind of physical contact. But she follows on with Jim guiding her back towards this very, very narrow passage. And this kind of just seems like the kind of passage where even if you made yourself as confined as possible, you're going to be scraping the stone. But he veers you towards it and then stops at the entranceway and then points towards it and just smiles and then just scuttles inside.
I will go in after him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming I'm right behind him when he goes through, so I'll very miserably go through the passageway.
Okay. He leads you on through this very, very tight passage, it's uncomfortably, and it's not even a smooth passage, it's jagged to the point where every now and again you have to stop to unattach your clothing away from the jagged rocks. There's bits, you're pretty certain from the airiness against your flesh that there are rips and tears going through this passage. And for a good 15 minutes he leads you going forwards until finally it comes out into a very small circular space, almost like what would happen if you punched the interior of a coffin outwards.
Okay.
So it's a long kind of person-length space, but it's wide. Okay. And inside this, there's just pictures all over it. And very crude, very, very childlike sketches done in an assortment of different colours, with pens, with pencils, with graphite, here and there. And in this very confined space, it's not all you can fit, but the moment that he stops and comes in, he kind of bounces and gestures for Benjamin again.
So these sketches, I mean, is there a sort of quality to them, or are they just...
No.
Okay.
No.
I will make a judgment. So, yes. I'm not saying anything, but I will be. So, yeah, I'll
Out of interest, roll me composure.
Oh, no.
Plus subterfuge.
Oh, yeah.
Because he is watching you for your reaction.
1 success and 1 bestial. So, you know, if I fail, it could be exciting.
Okay. You don't fail. He is. You can tell already that he pretty much has no contact with people. He probably couldn't read your expression or your intent, even if you're like, ugh. And the moment that you kind of look at them, the moment you make contact, he just looks over at them and then looks over at you and then gestures for you to come in. And Katia, you were behind. Mm-hmm. You can kind of. You're at this entranceway, watching Benjamin uncomfortably twisted into a semblance of a sitting position, staring at all these pieces, and they all these pictures seem to have been taken in that passage. And they're of rats, they're of cockroaches, they're of, at one point, what looks to be some sort of mangy dog, but it's a dog that has been nailed into place and is squirming, and just had pictures taken of it. It's uncomfortable to look at, but aside from that one, they just seem to be of whatever scurried through that passage and set off the lights.
Goodness, you've managed to fit an awful lot of pictures in this space. It's very impressive how you've lined them up this way.
And he goes over to what looks like this ragged heap of soiled clothing and just goes through them and then just lifts out a picture. And then you immediately notice that it's a really badly drawn sketch, and he hands that towards you and then reaches for another one, and what looks to be a picture of 3 individuals moving towards the camera, and the way that their eyes are glowed, it's clear that they spotted the cameras taking pictures of them and just kept going. But you managed to see the skeletal individual, the Nosferatu coated in hair, and the one that is jaggedly spiked. These are clearly the individuals that Moses was mentioning previously.
I'm looking around now that the guy is there. I'm still obfuscated. I don't mention anything, but if I look over her shoulder, I look behind us, and if I look at the picture, I just inhale, slightly sharp, very low, so only, like, probably her. It's them.
These are very good. Do you have the photographs you drew them from?
That is the photograph.
Oh, it is
He's
the
handed
photograph.
you the really, really badly drawn picture and then the photograph afterwards.
This is lovely. Wow.
I mean, the picture quality is impressive, but I wouldn't say lovely is what comes to mind. They look horrible. I mean,
Benjamin.
Ow.
He's looking around rummaging, and then he pulls out what looks to be. If you had some old iron sheet like scissors, it's like it's been broken off, and he's only got the one length of it, and he takes it and just gestures for Benjamin to come closer.
Oh, right.
Which you are close enough, but it seems like he wants you closer.
Yes, I'll sort of squidge closer, I suppose.
And then he grabs you by the hair and just starts cutting bits off.
Ah! What?
And he
No!
cuts some hair. Are you resisting?
I will hold him like, Benjamin, it'll be back in the when you wake up.
I'll hold still, I suppose, and let him cut some hair off.
Be nice to our host.
What?
He hands you the scissors.
Oh, thank.
And then he scuttles closer to you and twists his head towards you.
Oh, right, all right. So has he got? Did you say he's got hair? Or
He's got basically like string popping out of his head. It is hair. It's just.
Okay, I'll collect a couple of strands, I guess, and I will cut.
You can feel the grease and the oil, even though vampires don't really kind of give body grease anymore. It's kind of, it's like it's quite clear from the smell and the texture. He's been wading in filth of some kind.
Okay.
But you cut it off, and then he kind of turns away and just watches.
What's he done with my hair?
He ate it.
Okay, I'll return him the scissors, the scissor blade thing, and I'll look at this hair, and I will consider how my life has come to this place for a moment.
So
and I guess I will then kind of go.
Are you actually eating it?
Yes. I'm going to try anyway. I don't know if I'll be able to. But
He watches it. It is uncomfortable going down, and you get the feeling it'd be uncomfortable going down even if you weren't
yeah.
incapable of digesting it. And it does make you feel physically sick, like you want to retch. And you watch Katia uncomfortably close to him as his body just goes in that way where you're trying to hold it back. But it's such a small amount that for now you seem satiated.
And you were complaining about rats. Think about it for a second.
And he is just smiling and watching. He's got the scissors.
Now
and he's
you're
just
hair
there
brothers.
So,
Are you making these comments in character?
No.
No?
But I'm thinking about it.
Look, we're very fortunate to have met you down here, aren't we, Benjamin?
yes. I must admit, at first I thought that. Well, we've seen some very, very scary things down here, and it's nice to find a friendly face at last. So, do you want to come with us? I mean, we've come to try and find out who survived.
Counts his head again.
But if you know, because obviously something terrible's happened here, and
Counts his head further.
you.
I think we've moved past there.
Oh,
We have been moving for 6 hours away from the warren.
Oh, I see.
Probably hasn't heard about it.
Oh, right. No, that might explain it. So so this is your home, and you're happy here, and everything's fine. Oh, good. All right. Well, that's good. Right. Fine. So what now, Katia?
I go close to Jim because he's most likely going to be the furthest away from them. And I whisper, ask if they have more other pictures taken recently of other vampires. Kindred
I
here.
think there's that space where it makes you to be in the room.
Keep in mind that when you do whisper, the more you whisper and stuff, the more checks I'm going to be making. Because it can disrupt your obfuscate.
At this point,
I won't make any for now.
I'd probably say, it's wonderful to meet someone else down here. I mean, you've shown us these wonderful pictures. I wonder, would it be all right if I wouldn't want to take your artwork away, but would it be right if I could have this photograph to remember you by? I can give you something in return, you know, by way of apology, I suppose. And I would like to take out a few of the spiders in little boxes from my bag, if you would like them.
Glances over towards Benjamin.
Yes? What?
Grabs the scissors back up from where he took them, and then just again.
I think he
Is
wants
it
a bit more of your hair.
you? What? My hair again? I'll say I'm a little nervous around sharp objects, but I'm leaning forward. What's he looking at? Can I tell what he's trying to get his hands on? You want my spray can? You want me to come closer?
You're like pretty much
Okay.
at this point.
What? You want my hand? What are you going to cut off? I quite like my fingers and things. You want my finger?
Just give him a little one.
What? No! I can't. I'm like you. I know. Wait. I'm like you. What?
You'll have it back tomorrow.
No, I won't. No. What are you talking about?
Ben,
Just
it
give it
grows
time.
back.
Listen, this is concrete evidence of Sabbat. They won't believe us without some kind
I
of...
don't even know what that is.
It's dangerous.
Then just trust me in the fact that I do, and it's worth a little finger.
I'm really not convinced. We can trade something else that isn't me.
Listen, if we get back to the surface and Edmund finds out that you were partially responsible for discovering a Sabbat incursion near London, think of the praise he might give you.
If I'm doing this, I want the picture.
All right, we'll make a photocopy when we get home.
If I decide to, it's my finger. If I'm giving him a finger, I'm having the picture.
Can I
And
just,
we'll talk about...
I just leave to just shove that.
Okay. The more volume he's gaining in his voice, the more this individual is rocking in this space, and the less his smile's becoming. And he's fidgeting, the way he's twisting. And you're uncomfortably aware that you are close enough that if he turned that...
Yeah,
around,
well, I'm very...
there's no one
yeah.
between you and him, and
All right.
you've got no wiggle room.
I will say...
But you don't have to do it. You could scuttle backwards and out if you want.
Oh, I'm in the way.
I'll say... This will grow back. You're sure?
I promise it'll grow back.
Because if it doesn't, and I can't do my work...
Well, you've got 2 hands, you
if
ambidextrous.
I can't do my work, I tell you, you will be responsible.
I didn't know it was finger painting you did.
I'm sure that Edmund will find that very funny. I'll hold out my hand.
Grabs your hand. And
I'm really hoping... Benjamin is really hoping it actually means to take a bit of nail off.
Nail
But we'll see.
Okay. He pulls your hand close.
Yeah.
And then begins looking from fingertip to fingertip to fingertip, and every time he looks at one, he looks up at you, and then looks back down. And he perches the scissors close, and then seems to reconsider it and goes from the next one. And he seems to be touching metal, rusted metal, to cold skin, trying to gauge a reaction from you.
My reaction is generally, no, not that one.
And then he gets to your thumb, and then just starts slicing. You will take...
Yeah.
It's your left hand, it's fine.
You will take 2 points of superficial damage.
Okay.
And I also need you to roll composure plus... Actually, we'll say willpower check.
A willpower check. Okay, let me just...
Unless your intent is to let out noise. If you're happy to vent, then you don't need to roll willpower at all.
No, I don't think I want to shout, because he
Okay,
didn't
then
like it
it's
when
a
I was...
willpower check.
So it's just straight willpower, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just to see if you can...
Okay.
Because dead or not, you are having your...
Yeah, no,
thumb
this is awful.
forcibly
I don't...
removed.
Benjamin can't quite understand why his supposed friends are telling him this is a good idea. But anyway...
Trust me.
Loads.
Wow. That's like 5 successes.
5 successes.
Okay.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
pain...
Man of steel.
Man of Steel!
The pain is considerable. And you seem to twist in on yourself. As Katia, you watch, and you can see just over the slip of her shoulder, between the space between the back of her head and the roof, the thumb being sawn away with gusto by this individual that's just staring at it like it's the only thing in this tunnel. And finally he pulls the digit away and just looks at it with a kind of reverence as you're just looking towards the space where your thumb was. And to most individuals that are aware of kindred and their ability to grow limbs back, they might not be quite so concerned, but this is new to you. Your thumb has just been sawn off.
Completely?
Yeah, it's gone. He has taken it. And he stares at it and then kind of pockets it and then pulls it back out. And then just...
Well, I'll hold up my hand, in fact, because he's going to give us the picture in
I think
Benjamin's opinion.
I was holding the picture. I will give it to you.
Right, I'll put the picture away.
And I'll give him back his drawing. If you would like it. I think this is for you.
Oh, thank you.
You're not bleeding out your thumb, and that's even more worrying. It's like the images that you might have seen. It's like when you've seen animals that have been strung up and bled, and when in a butcher's or similar, and they're not bleeding because there is no blood, and it's just a stark reminder, on top of everything else, on top of your current environment, your current company, and your current circumstances, just how unalive you really are. And he is just watching you with a big smile on his face. The smile's returned, and he's not actually chewing or digesting the thumb, but he seems to be just biting on it and then stopping and then looking at it and then biting on it. And then after a few moments, he takes what looks to be a nail from underneath the clothing, punctures your thumb with the nail, and then presses it onto himself. And then just looks at it and then looks at you.
It's like a scout badge.
I'll say, well, you'll be able to remember me now when I go. So, unless you're coming with us, of course. I'm not giving you any more fingers. I'll let him take mine because I'm very close. Is he trying to hold me or something? Yeah, I'll let him hold me for a moment.
And he grabs his hand and then just sits with him.
Well, goodbye.
Adios, Benjamin.
I'll say, well, this is very cosy.
What are you doing?
I'm waiting for Katia to do something brilliant.
Oh, I know what you're doing. You three do.
I'm going to turn my attention more to Agnes. I'm just try and shake her a little bit. Just try and bring her more. Agnes,
What?
do you know the way out from here?
She just points down the way that you were headed.
How long till we get out, do you reckon?
I don't know.
An estimate.
A day, maybe.
Day?
I mean, this leads to Reading.
Right.
I mean, that's closer than going back to London. So, if you don't want to go through the Warrens, there's the trains and
No.
I think I will whisper to Benjamin, well, you're going to have to be very nice to this fellow.
I thought I already was.
Jim and Moses.
Backpedal very
Wits plus
nicely
awareness.
if you want to leave. Because I think this one's on you.
One success and one the hunger.
I think he thinks I'm just your
Oh,
neighbour or something.
one success. I'm distracted.
You've got a red one as well.
Oh yeah, and
Oh god,
and a
we got
red.
the same roll.
One success with a 1.
That's fine, as long as there's not no successes, I think you're okay.
Okay. Alright, I'm going to put a pin in that for now, and I'll look through the book in a moment. You both did fail, but I'll address that in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. He is still clutching you, and the look on his face, it's the closer you actually roll me intelligence plus insight, both of you, since you are Katia close enough as well to observe this.
Insight.
Thank you.
Just
Does that count
you
as?
can't see this guy.
Does this count as observation?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a minus. I think my insight.
2. 2
2.
successes.
Yeah. 2.
2. Okay, you get the feeling the closer you are to this individual, this is not an individual which is insane or lacks any sense of its own faculties. It is just quite clearly an individual which has no social contact and hasn't for a long enough time, or has had the kind of social contact which was so damaging that they're unaware of the rights and wrongs of what they're currently doing. He is 100% lucid, and it's not like he's kind of...
I'll say, sorry, I interrupted you. Sorry.
No.
I'll say, I've had an idea. Do you know a good way back out of here, out to the, to the surface? Yes. Do you know a good route out, a quick one? Because I was thinking if you would be willing to show us that route in exchange. I notice you've got lots of really wonderful drawing materials here. Perhaps I could draw you a picture to keep. Because I know you like to draw pictures too. I like to draw. But perhaps I could give you a gift of a picture if you could show us the way out.
Charisma plus persuasion.
Didn't want my fucking spiders.
Oh yeah, here we go. Charisma plus persuasion.
Is there any way I can help with?
If you're willing to add to the discussion before he rolls, I'll let you add a +1.
His artwork is ever so good. He's very talented, almost as talented as you are.
Yeah, sure. Go on. Flattery gets you everywhere.
To be fair, the dice pool is pretty low. 1 success.
He kind of starts grabbing your shirt and your top and just starts like crunching them,
Okay.
and then looks at Katia.
Do you want me to draw as well?
I think.
Oh, am I? Do you want me to leave?
He's grabbed Benjamin by the clothing and is...
You want my clothes? You want me to draw on my clothes?
I think.
And he starts pulling
I think
more
he wants,
insistently at the
okay.
clothing.
Life drawing session.
You want me to take this off? Right.
This can be the beginning of something beautiful, Benjamin.
So, I guess it's quite hard in the space and having no thumb, but I will try and get out of, I don't know, my whatever I'm wearing. Like I've probably got like some kind of like jacket on anyway, so I'll try and shrug out of that.
This is the weirdest evening I've had in a long
The
time.
moment that you take off your jacket, and it is difficult to get out,
Yeah.
not only because of the confined space, but with a cackling Tremere behind you.
I'm not cackling. I'm just...
You know,
Inside you are, and we can hear it.
yeah, with his insight, with his heightened sense. But the moment he grabs it, he lifts it to his nostril, and then for the first time you hear the human response of... And
So-
then he starts putting it on. It does not fit him at all, and you can hear the ripping of the fabric as he puts it on. And it's ripped most of the way up the back, almost to the point where he's made it into 2 separate parts
Sure.
of the same jacket, or the same shirt, but he is...
It was a noble sacrifice.
And he starts crawling over Benjamin towards you. Are you staying where you are? Are you,
Yeah, I'll stay where I am. Be
Okay.
polite.
He starts pushing past you, and there is no room in there, and it is uncomfortable how close he comes, and you can smell the stink of him. But he moves past you, moves straight towards you, and just keeps moving. He can't see you.
Okay.
I'm going to have a last look. I'm going to put my heightened senses back on
Okay.
and have a last look in this room to see if there are any other interesting pictures. I'm not interested in dogs nailed to things, but if there are things of other kindred that look interesting or anything else like that.
Roll intelligence plus investigation.
Okay.
Oh,
If you're
maybe a
doing it
picture of the
quickly,
monster.
it'll be with a -2. Or are you going to take the time to do it?
Well, how much time are we talking?
I mean, it's a confined space, but they are pretty much laden over each other. Actually, it won't be at a -2. I'll just raise the difficulty. But
Yeah, okay.
It's not.
2 successes and a bestial, if you
Okay.
like. Should it be relevant?
Okay, it's not a difficult task. This
No.
is a confined space. But in a glance over, the one thing that draws your gaze back towards the edge of the room is you can see what looks to be the flash of the camera and something illuminated from the passage, and then the picture underneath it, which is sequential, and you can tell that because you can see the same eyes. You can see a hand popping out at the entranceway through which you guys had entered, and you recognise this to be the exact same individual that you spied in your premonition.
With the massive...
Only thing again.
I'm going to take it and put it in my... Assuming this guy is gone...
Both?
No, well, there's one that's got the hand.
You've got two pictures. You've got the one which shows the eyes at the opening of the passage and the silhouette, and then you've got one with the hand, but you can't really see the eyes, but you can still see the silhouette, almost like it has turned away and the second picture's gone off.
Because I'm assuming that the guy has actually gone like out of the... He's like gone.
Yeah, he started crawling towards Moses.
Yeah,
and towards
I'm going to
Jim.
take both pictures, put them away, and then I'm going to go out.
Okay. So you pocket them and start going.
Yeah.
I'm following, I guess, behind the dude, so you're behind me.
Yeah.
He leads you back out into the chamber, the open chamber, and again he stays at his height and starts speeding off towards one of the other passages. Jim, you see him coming out wearing Benjamin's ripped shirt. You can see Benjamin instinctively holding his hand to himself without a thumb, and then as you kind of double back and look over towards the Nosferatu, you can see the nailed thumb on the top of his chest, but he just skitters off towards one of the passages.
Is it the same one that Agnes directed me toward? Was directing us towards?
Hey, Benjamin gets the bravery points tonight.
Yeah. Let's go.
Ow.
He begins moving with uncautious speed towards this passage, but despite the level of speed he's going at, his passage is silent, and he makes off towards this passage, and you need to rush after him to keep up. The moment he hits this tunnel, he begins weaving his way down the numerous ones that go off. First off down towards the right, and it begins ascending, and then he goes off towards the left and it goes onto the level, and then off towards one on another left and it begins ascending again, and you feel almost like you're spiraling upwards, and you begin following him for what feels about an hour. And at this point you're starting to feel not lethargic to the degree where it's coming close to dawn, but you are aware you're a couple of hours away, maybe. And then as he ascends towards another passage, he stops and then points towards a cluster of rocks which have basically been wedged in an almost kind of brick-like wall construction that has been made by someone that has no idea how to physically make a formidable wall. And behind it you can see a what looks to be an iron door.
It's close to date. Should we invest here? And then...
We still have a few hours.
I wonder if we should just get out and then find somewhere.
Wherever we well, we can see. Well, does it look like this has been in for a while, or has this been put back in the last few hours?
What, the covering?
The kind of rubbly wall.
Intelligence plus investigation.
Yes, I do. 3 successes.
It has recently been put back.
Right. This hasn't been here very long. Could be, maybe, Sabbat on the other side. A little further. But we also know there is at least one still behind us. Somewhere.
I think we should just go. We should just get out. Don't you think? Don't you think we should just get out?
Yes, with any luck we'll rise before they will. If they are as insane as I've heard. So we might have at least that.
Let's go then.
I'm assuming I can't see Moses anyway.
I'm assuming he's not saying anything or just remaining passive.
Yeah, I'm just behind you guys. Just
Shall we,
waiting to
Jim?
see. I'm not going to be trying to open any door or anything. I'm not risking living off escape. I mean, if you get ambushed, at least I can survive. I
Try
mean,
and
help you out.
take apart. Not trying to just tear it down, but just trying to sort of piece it
The
apart.
moment you put down your torch, the Nosferatu moves over, picks it up, and then just puts it inside the jacket.
I just shine mine at the wall. Go on.
I'll say to him, this is the way out here. Up, yes. Thank you.
And you begin moving all the rubble away from it. And this is a similar kind of door that you'd expect from either a subway tunnel or something similar. It's quite clear that it does lead. You're now at the level where human construction has reached, and you'd expect kind to potentially be. But the fact that this has been blocked on this side even recently suggests that this is likely to lead somewhere that the kind don't regularly go or haven't gone for a while. And it doesn't take you too long to move this stuff away, but as expected, the moment you grab the latch,
The what?
the latch for the door.
Oh, okay.
Locked.
It's locked.
My
You're the
lockpicks.
lockpick guy.
Pull out my lockpicks and
Shine the light.
there we go on the door. It's Dex and Larceny, I think. Two successes.
And it opens out onto a disused passage which clearly connects up to a sewer system. It's unlit and looks grimy as you'd expect it to. It's clear that maintenance work hasn't happened down this tunnel for a while.
Well,
Can't wait to have a shower.
we are literally in the shit, aren't we? Let's go.
I'll wave to this little. Oh, all right. I'll go up and approach, and I'll give him a hug.
He grips you
Uh-oh.
from the waist
Yeah.
and then grabs your hand and starts rubbing his face on it. And you can feel the grime coming off in your hand, but he seems to do that. And then he licks it. There is no saliva, but he
No.
licks it. And then he just turns off towards the passage, stops and then turns and darts off.
Sorry about
I'm
your
so
bags.
happy we didn't kill him.
Yes. When I exit and I go like, well, Thumbelina, what's the name of your friend?
Well, he wasn't very talkative, so I don't really know what his name was.
Well, don't worry about your thumb, we'll grow back. Trust me on that one, we'll grow back.
Okay.
Right.
So what's the immediate plan, guys? You've now found your way into a disused but subway tunnel, which you could probably get to the surface through.
Surface, subway or sewer? I thought you said sewer at the beginning.
Sewer, sorry.
Okay, sewer.
As much as I hate the idea of being in the filth, I do think we don't want to be wandering around on the surface if it's nearly dawn, do we?
No. At least here there's a forward, there's a back. There's only two ways.
The two that rolled the bestial failures, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Hunger increases by 1.
Uh,
Given that I can't fully remember the circumstances where you rolled that, like everything that was going on
Yeah.
behind
Okay,
the scenes at
it's
that
okay.
point,
Perhaps-
hunger goes up by 1.
Perhaps it might be
Yeah.
to our advantage if we take some time over this and let our enemies get further ahead. Therefore, we're less likely to come across them.
Yes, that's a very yes. Let's let them get ahead.
Get whom get ahead?
Well, the ones that
there's a Bart.
I mean, judging by that, they don't photograph well. I'm just saying. I don't think I want to actually meet them in the flesh.
Those fuckers did not go through here.
Are you sure they didn't go through here? That wall.
Someone did recently in the last few hours.
Wasn't it locked?
Do you think they would have built that
Do you-
wall,
Someone
though?
built this
I'm-
wall in the last few hours.
But do you think it was them?
They
Do
could
you
have
know you
locked
can
the door
actually?
behind them.
I mean, it's possible to.
They haven't had time. They haven't had time to build a wall. It's all happened.
Build a wall, like come in through a door that
Yes.
is locked, even if they have the key, and build a wall around it
No,
in a couple of hours.
I agree with
from
Moses.
from the inside.
I mean, it would have taken them. Anyway, let's just find the safest place we can and rest, and then. Do you think, or do you just
What
think
time
we should
is
try
it roughly?
You're looking around 3-ish in the morning. But
should
keep in
have-
mind that you are in summertime, so
Yeah,
sunrise is...
we have a couple of hours before
Yeah.
sunrise, so I would recommend getting to the closest exit first, figure out where we are, and if there is a way of getting
Yes, right, all right, yes. Let's do
Well, it can't take
Let's
too
do
long
it.
to find a surface hatch once we're actually now in the sewers. So
Yeah. So,
we press on for now.
Okay.
Agnes, do you know these sewers?
No.
Okay, so we'll just go on instinct and what we know of the sewers, looking for a surface hatch.
Okay.
At least it's not as cramped here. That's something, I suppose.
What do you want to do, guys?
That's what I'm doing, like walking on one of the directions.
And Nossies
looking-
know the sewers.
Yeah.
Actually, is there any water, waste, sludge, or anything in the tunnels that we are in?
Yeah, this place is coated in filth.
Okay. In the direction opposite of where it's headed, we walk in that direction,
Okay.
towards the source. So that'll mean we'll get closer to higher ground. Since we will be technically walking upstream,
Yeah, makes sense.
which will put us either closer to the sources, which are usually residential or commercial and industrial areas, or higher up, closer to the surface. It's
Okay.
basic sewer navigation 101.
You're going for the better part of about 30 minutes to 40 minutes just wandering up through these old passages. And before long, you note that you are leaving the areas where it's been abandoned or has not yet been maintained and refurbished, and you start entering into passages which are clean enough to suggest that the kind regularly use it.
Okay.
But you don't see anyone down here. It's abandoned for the most part. There are still functioning lights, and as minor as this is normally, it is a godsend after you've been spending a couple of days in the blackness of the warrens, and it even just standing there, particularly you, Benjamin, with your heightened senses now dropped, I'm assuming.
Yeah, if there's light.
You feel less the instinctual need to just turn it back on.
Yeah.
Now that you'll hear an artificial light. And there's almost like a warmth coming off of these electric bulbs as you're just sat there. Even with the stink around you, even with the numb, lingering pain of your absent thumb.
And shirtless.
And shirt.
It's in my jacket, not my
Jacket.
shirt.
Jacket or shirt,
Oh.
whichever one you had.
I wish, let's say shirt.
Yeah, it'll take you. Yeah.
In all seriousness, Ben, I know I joked a lot back there, but it was mostly to keep the situation calm. That photograph is more valuable than anything else we have come by in this complex.
I
Is that
see.
a photograph?
Yes, he's a photographer, and he had a photograph of
We have images of
those
the-
vampires. You know, the ones.
Which is just as well, because I suspect no one would have believed us without those.
But I mean, they. What's the? What is it? Oh, sorry, are we doing anything before the sunrise? I mean, are we going up to look, or are we
Are
just
you
staying
still
here?
progressing up now that you've reached the Kine accessible tunnels?
If we're going to sleep somewhere, it shouldn't be where the kind have been active.
We're
yes.
looking for either close to the abandoned tunnels or a place we know it's almost certain no one will walk through. And in a nook or a cranny, a place where we all
Any
would
dead
fit.
ends?
But I would continue progressing since I'm still obfuscated. Try to find the next set of source so I
you
have
put
an
it
idea.
back up
Sorry?
because you've been discussing with these guys when you came back. When you came back into the passage, didn't you start speaking with these guys?
Oh, yeah, you said, did you ask your friend his name? And then I just kept on walking.
Alright. So Moses has gone off again. In which case, who's been following Moses?
Well, if you're obfuscated, I'm not. I guess I can't see you.
I'm not going to leave these two.
I
So
can't
you've
do
gone
this.
off on your own then, off up to
Yeah.
these tunnels. Okay, so you guys are still back close to this iron door.
Yeah.
Moses, you've gone off, and it's taken you about an hour of wandering, but you've finally managed to find the part where the Kine are. You guys are still back there, and Moses.
So we're where the light is, aren't we?
Yeah, and then I just come back and look for them. I just
so
wanted to find...
about an hour after you've come through this door, or 2 hours rather, he comes back. Moses suddenly reappears.
Mhm.
All of a sudden he wasn't there, and then all of a sudden he is. Just
Find a place for us to spend the night close to...
you are
so we...
starting to feel heavy.
Oh, we should go then quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't like this.
As we walk, can I give him a very quick TED talk on what I know about the Sabbat?
RP your weapons.
Oh,
Because this is an important conversation.
Yes, I think it is.
I mean, they look horrible, but I mean, what?
How much do you know about historically kindred?
Nothing really, I suppose.
All right, so I mean, you know the Camarilla. You know there's a very strict code of secrecy.
Yes, I do. I've learned
for both
it.
the protection of ourselves and the kind, of
Yes.
course. Now there are certain kindred who, firstly, they don't like the name kindred. They use the term Canaanites, as you might have picked up earlier, who completely reject this philosophy. They believe that we are naturally above the kind, the humans, even though we once were them. They believe that they should be under our dominion, that we should have complete control and be their shepherds to some extent. But they are all insane. They are militaristic. They are almost tribal, feral. A lot of them, they will not hesitate to kill us all, or possibly take us for questioning, see what they can find out about the Camarilla in London. So there's that.
So they're fascist vampires.
I don't think they're that organised, I'll be honest. There is a chaotic nature.
And how did you know that this? How did you know that they're not? I mean, I know they look, but I mean, not all of us look.
Have you ever heard anyone use the term Canaanites?
Well, only you really just now.
Exactly. It's almost a phrase that they use in rejection of the term kindred.
Oh, so it's their language.
It's yes, you
Yes,
could call
all right.
it that.
All right.
What I know of the Sabbat in the US. Imagine evolution, and you're the apex predator. What does the apex predator of a region do?
Well, whatever it wants.
Exactly. That's the philosophy of the Sabbat, and they are not afraid of achieving their goals by any means necessary.
And it seems like a big, I don't know, a surprise that they're here.
Yes.
That seems
Well,
the sense I have.
Factions are at war.
As far as we knew, the Sabbat in London was wiped out in the Second World War. I've never seen one in my life. As far as we knew, they were mostly poached out of England.
All right.
There are a few Sabbat cities in the US and
Yes,
in
there are
Canada, but we never have never been
there aren't
close
so
to
many
any.
in Europe, apart from Spain, but we don't talk about Spain.
For a brutality,
So-
brutality's perspective, then, you think I'm pretty brutal?
Well, I mean, I think you are capable of.
I'm a puppy dog compared to them.
Right.
Let's just say the fact that they have shown up is very big news,
Worrying.
and it's a reveal to the point, like as I say, a lot of people wouldn't believe us, but out of denial.
So this information is very valuable.
Yes.
And how are we going to use that information valuably?
First of all, the moment we get back, we tell Plucky Jake of what we found.
Yes.
He's the first one to know about all of this, so he can release Agnes and Jim of their boons. Then, since we've already been talked to my primogen, I would suggest you talking to Sabine,
Definitely.
giving her the upper hand on this information.
I know that
You
Plucky.
talking to Edmund.
I know
Yes.
that Plucky Jake said that we weren't supposed to
Yes.
reveal details of the Warrens, but this is not to do with the Warrens. This is beyond
No,
the Warrens,
no.
and I obviously it is yours. You did give your thumb, and I respect that. But if I could take a copy of that photograph to the Chantry,
we need,
we can do
several
things
copies
with-
of that.
Like,
That kind of
yes,
I will try to show one
Yeah.
to Constable.
Yes, I
Yatley.
think that would be wise.
But on the plus side, the fact that we retrieved this evidence might help our somewhat awful, terrible reputation.
Actually,
Right.
we should come up with a plausible reason as to why we have this information. So, the story we're gonna go with is I was in this sewers or in these tunnels, not Warrens, and I was attacked by them.
Well, I mean,
as
that's
I
true.
was.
How will we explain how you survived?
Sorry?
3 against 1. They would have ripped you apart.
They were Nosferatu. though.
Nosferatu.
There is. I don't mean to ruffle any feathers, but you're more bonded by your family, I believe.
The only thing is with this plan, it sounds sensible to think of our story and carefully craft it. I don't think I should lie to Edmund at any point in this.
And then I suggest you do not talk to Edmund about this.
Well, no, we've already agreed that you're going to tell Sabine and you're going to tell Plucky Jake, or we're going to tell Plucky Jake, and I'm going to tell Edmund.
Or you let us tell Edmund.
No, I want to tell him. Obviously, he's going to ask me. No,
I think Edmund knows that Jim cannot mind.
Yeah. Also,
And
how well are you going to preserve the secret that you were in Nosferatu Warrens?
no, I'm not going to. No, I won't.
He's already told. I mean, what did you say when you asked about the equipment that we brought down?
Let's see. I mean, so much has happened. I'm not really myself, and what with Dawn coming, it's hard to remember exactly. I mean, I have just had my thumb cut off. To be fair to me, let me.
I suggest you start
Is this
making
the first
memory.
grievous injury you suffered in the last few months?
I think it. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's
Excellent.
the first time.
We have a full house. Well done.
What? Well, no, it's not a competition. It's just how it is. Anyway, I think we should get some rest.
Yes.
And
Benjamin, think hard. Did you mention the Warrens to Edmund?
I don't know.
Yes.
I said we were going underground.
I would rather have you not lie to us and tell me how can I make that better. Because that thumb is the least of your worries if Plucky Jake finds out you said anything.
What?
To be fair, Plucky Jake never bound me nor
Yes,
Edmund
I'm not.
secrecy.
I didn't.
He asked that nothing that was discussed in that room left the room.
Mm-hmm.
He was very specific. Should we stayed, everything should remain secret. We decided to stay. Those are the terms.
I do remember telling Edmund that it was a secret. So I'm sure he'll be discreet.
Yeah.
No, he is a very discreet man. Of course he will be.
I also seem to tell Sabine that my reasons for being in the sewers were a matter of a boon, and she respects.
I'll be clear that I can't tell him everything. I'll just tell him this important bit. I won't say anything about where we. I wouldn't even know. It's a maze. I wouldn't know how to get here. I can't tell him where this all was.
No. The point is, you should not be mentioning you going around tunnels between Redden and
I mean,
London.
if you just say you were acting on a boon that you owe, then
Yes,
I'm sure
I'll-
Edmund will respect that.
I mean, but that's not true.
It is true.
I told him that it was to help.
You are acting due to a boon. You don't need to say who owes it.
What? Yeah, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. I said that I was helping my coterie. I'll just say that. I'll tell him it's a secret, and I can't tell him much about it. But that this was an important thing that he has to know. That's all I'll say.
Fine. Are we near this tunnel now? It's getting very.
Yes,
early.
I
We're
do
on
feel
our way.
heavy.
It's like the moment we get to one of those small tunnels, service tunnels, just sleep.
There is one more thing. I'll take out the picture with a hand. I'll say, do you remember I was telling you about those hands I saw?
Quick query: is that the only one of the two you took, or did you take both?
You did.
I think I took both.
Okay.
Because one had the eyes, didn't it?
One had the eyes and the silhouette.
Yeah.
And the other one had the silhouette in the hand.
Yeah.
Almost as though it was a picture.
Yeah.
Face
Okay.
on, but not of great
And,
quality.
and I told you that story, and I know that you did believe me, but I'm not sure everyone believed me. Look what I found in that room. I'll pull out the picture.
I mean, I never doubted it, but
It's not the best quality picture. It's more because of how real that dream was, and the fact that you've seen, you painted this individual. So to you guys, it kind of just looks like a black mound, and then what looks like black spidery hands.
Okay. Do they look like the ones he drew and showed us?
They look like the ones that you drew, but then it could also.
Yeah, it's like.
Because you got to remember the cameras were at a distance away from the tunnel entrance. I mean, if you kind of strained your eyes, you could kind of make out what he's on about. But aside from that one picture that he drew quickly, whilst he was still borderline hysterical, they look maybe. But then to you, this is like picture perfect.
You see?
You know what to look
You
for.
see? Jim, look.
No, I
Evidence.
really.
Well, it's quite dark in here, but when we're on the surface, you will understand.
no, I believe you, 100%.
I'm sleepy.
Any theories over what
Do you think that's a
what it
Sabbat
is?
as well?
Well,
I don't know.
What exactly did you say, Have you said it did something to me?
Oh, it put its hand through you from the back. And then
Ow.
and it twisted and ripped off your head.
I mean,
And
that does sound like Sabbat.
And it was so big it filled the tunnel. I mean, it was huge.
Well,
With any luck, it doesn't like those bright lights. Maybe it won't come through further that tunnel.
You think it might? I'll start freaking out a bit. but
Well,
there's-
if it's here, it's going to drop into torp at the same time we do.
I very much hope so.
Drop a torpor, hopefully be under longer, and then we just get it first. I pull out the gun.
But I mean,
I'll
is it
probably
even a vampire? I don't know.
Well-
I mean,
I have 3 shots. If I put 3 shots into it, it's gonna fucking hurt it.
I'm going to put on my best unconvinced face.
I doubt it.
Well,
But either way,
although it's
it's getting early.
There's no
Yeah.
point stressing over it now. Let's just rest.
All right.
Not that we have a choice.
And having ducked into one of these side maintenance tunnels and made yourselves as comfortable as you can in a space not really designed for resting, you sit yourselves down and trade whatever small talk you want to have. But the talk lessens as the lethargy takes you over, and then all of a sudden you just stop functioning. And that's where we're going to take a break, guys. We will resume back in a good 10 minutes, and then we will see you for part 2. Thank you, guys.
Cool. So, the first thing we just want to mention is that I've got my new vampire dice, which I'm very excited. And so you can obviously play with just normal D10s, that's absolutely fine, but they also have, for those of you who like an excuse to buy more dice, they also have special dice. You may not be able to see them very well on the camera, but they have red ones for the hunger die and black ones for the regular die. And they have symbols for successes and also symbols for critical wins. And the hunger dice are similar, and they have symbols for messy criticals. And they also have your good old bestial fail as well. And they're very easy to read and pretty awesome. So the other thing, actually, while we're thinking, is I wanted to do a shout out for Natalie, who has been doing fan art for us. Obviously, you know, it's always a bit of a gift whenever you get any kind of fan art, and she's doing a series, one for each of the characters. I think on the website we've got the first 2 up, which are for Jim and Katia, and Benjamin's, I think, has appeared on Twitter, and that'll be on the website next week. Benjamin's is my favourite.
There's no bias here.
Yeah,
No bias though, completely objective.
yeah. Thank you so much. I think it means
Yes. Thanks.
Yeah, it's
Thank
excellent.
you.
It's really good.
amazing gift.
Also, a huge, massive shout out to Bati Batilmuru, my Nosferatu friend Lenny, another Shrek netter, for his help with a little project I asked him help with, and for his support. And his Shreknet project is amazing. Check for it. I think we can leave a link I'll tweet it later or put it somewhere else in the description, so you can go and have a look and become part of the brood.
Yep.
You know, Nosferatu power forever. Come on.
Although there is one Gangle who has managed to.
Yeah, there is a special appearances by a gangrel who's a Nosferatu wannabe. He knows what the good plan is. So.
Moses just left the chat system open. That's what happened, and Jim just thinking, "Oh, I mean, okay, that worked."
So, are there any questions from chat?
Yeah, there was a question from ShadowGamer264 asking, what are interesting merits and flaws, and how do they work?
ShadowGamer264. And one flaw that I've seen that I looked at, I was like, that's an interesting flaw. There's no way I'm going to take it. It's a 2-point flaw, which is a big flaw. One called steak bait. I'm going, steak bait. If someone stakes you, you die. It's pretty.
Yeah, usually when you're
No.
staked, it's torpor. A good thing that I have learned to do when creating a character, I think we've talked about how to create a character at some point, and is you choose a concept. Now, regarding merits and flaws, just read through them and what they are and mean, And sometimes a merit, or more importantly, a flaw, will give you an idea of a character concept. Something like, I don't know, a dependent, and you go like, hey, wait a second, yeah, I could see someone struggling to just being, recently embraced. Now he's a vampire and has someone to take care of, someone who depends on them, or a merit, something that makes your character distinctive in some way or shape. They are good ways of rounding up your concept, making it more unique, making it to your liking, and look for the best combination. It's gonna be like kind of awkward for me to try to remember all of them, but if you see a few that you like, of course they have ratings for a reason. Some merits or flaws are gonna be like, oh, this advantage is amazing, I want to be unbondable and super indestructible. Yeah, but you're gonna need more points that you actually have to get them. So it's all in order to keep it balanced. So my suggestion is that read them and try to see what they make you think, and how can you implement that.
So one of the interesting things for those of you who played V20 is you used to have an appearance stat for your character, and the Nosferatu have it zeroed, and obviously other characters spend as many dots as they want. In V5 there is no appearance stat, but merits and flaws determine your appearance. Obviously if you are a Nosferatu, then you already are
repulsive automatically.
And how repulsive you are is kind of connected to your Bane severity. So the kind of the more your Bane severity goes up, and the kind of more experienced you become and older and stuff, you also get uglier as well as an Aussie. But if you want to play a horrific, either a marginally ugly or repulsive, or an extremely ugly or repulsive character, you can take the flaws, and also you can take merits to be attractive as well. It's kind of an interesting change.
Yeah, some of them are related also to what you feed up.
So to say, it's worth mentioning that when you buy merits and flaws, it's a little different to what it used to be. You have a number of points overall to spend on your backgrounds, and it's also includes things like so having certain qualities in your retainers or in your allies is now also kind of tied into it being a merit, so it's a similar kind of arrangement.
It's the same points that you're spending at character creation. And of course with predator types they often come with like a package of merits and flaws attached to them as well.
Oh yeah.
So for example, and this is off the top of my head, so apologies people who wrote the system.
The bagger?
But I was thinking, if you for example are a siren, so your predator type is that you kind of go through clubs and things and lure people and feed on them that way. You get things like an attractiveness merit, and you also I think get a rival and various other bits like that, and a bit of a herd. So these things are all kind of connected together. Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
I hope that clarifies.
Yeah, hopefully that helps.
Our thoughts.
Shadow Gamer, thank you. So something is making them smile over there. I don't know what it is.
I'm afraid.
I think he's taken off now because he had bad internet connections, but Zero Bro.
Oh yeah, Bro, yeah.
Bro asks, Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Team Moses.
So I think that's the bad
It's a Twilight.
It's a Twilight reference.
I think there's a 4-word phrase that we can use with that one.
I think Team Moses, dude. Team Moses, all the way.
I don't know.
I think
this is definitely a lesser of two evils question, isn't it? Like, what can I?
Would you side with a lupine? How could you betray your people?
I think rather the lupine than the sparkly vampire.
Yeah, but think which one's...
he
is one of the shirtless, yeah.
Also,
but which one will be easier to diabolize? It's definitely Edward, because you've just got to upset him slightly.
Yeah.
So it's like sparkly abs or regular abs.
Yeah, but I mean...
Yeah, but you don't really get much out of diabolizing Jacob.
All of these, it makes me remember tweets and things that I've seen, like maybe in Nangag or something at some time. Edward's not a vampire, he's a leech. He drinks blood, and whenever the light hits him, he shines and sparkles and glitters. So if he's glistening, he's like a leech. He's not a vampire.
I wonder if we're missing the kind of like. I wonder if this is one of these questions we should have all just like shouted an answer. So let's get into the real depths of is he a vampire?
We have read into this quite
Just so you know,
Yeah, like Reddit threads.
I will make it known that when we were writing the description of our coterie and our domain,
I just remember.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
we have a description of the crossed hands. And how we spend, our points. Where is it? The maps and like little high tech. And then we had to give a description of some of its flaws, and we had the flaw Thin Bloods. And I chose a poster picture from Twilight. This and it says on the bottom.
The actual Thin Bloods had
Thin
turned out
Bloods-
to be like that.
Thin Bloods posing as true vampires. Source, who cares? They must die. So those are my thoughts on Team Edward / Team Dick.
Just in case you were wondering what Carlos's views of Twilight were.
Yeah. It's also kind of to tie back to the last question about merits and flaws. Thin Bloods have their own set of special merits and flaws that I know nothing about
I think
because
Kate
I'm
had a
not
few
playing
as
one.
well, right?
They
Kate
might.
have just used the standard vampire flaws. The Thin Bloods have ones like they have a flaw called baby teeth, where they have no
fangs.
Have no fangs, so
They have to, like,
it's physically cut.
tragic,
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, they have their own subset of
Yeah, their own
additional
subset of
ones
fangs,
that you
subset,
can
yeah.
choose. Like,
Yeah, it's a thing. If you can choose, as kind of Thin Bloods, you can choose up to 3 merits. But if you choose 3 merits, you have to choose 3 flaws.
you have some.
It's like 1 merit and 1 flaw.
Okay, yeah,
But you
yeah.
can have up to 3 of each.
Yeah, but they are like pseudo vampire stuff, like Daywalker or Light Sleeper,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
So it's literally a Thin Blood, man.
Reading chat, there's one comment I saw in chat which was by Cormster07, which states but Jim, you're our puppy dog, which is like, oh, that's cute, thanks, Jim McClear.
He's our puppy dog.
Yeah, Jim would be-
He's the
We'll be
puppy.
saying that next time he's biting someone in the skull.
Keep setting
Look at
things
him,
on
our puppy
fire
dog.
and pissing on the
bless
carpet.
Feeding off of guys in high visibility jackets and stuff.
Oh god.
Cool.
Shooting weapons and guns.
Right.
I think we're done.
Is it time for the buddy board?
Any updates?
Oh my god, we haven't done the board.
I was hoping you missed it.
No, we've got to do the board.
Such a painful
This is
moment.
the biggest development for
Our-
some time.
Our board has sort of suffered a bit in transit.
Yeah.
Let's see if it's holding together.
It is looking fine.
The moment that falls apart, everyone on it dies.
Don't say that. That's actually quite likely.
I mean, mine's already died once.
So I've put, because we don't really know much about them yet. On the bottom, I've added Hairy Noz, Scary Noz, and Spiky Noz as our 3 Sabbat, possibly Sabbat, obviously.
The 3 Stooges.
alleged Sabbat Nosferatu that we encountered. Eagle-eyed people may notice there is something missing that's normally on this board, which we're going to come and address next. So we can put this one back.
Who else could it be? I just don't know.
Drum roll, please.
I can't do that as I'm.
Have you written an eulogy yet?
No.
Wow. I guess you didn't really love him.
Oh, that's harsh.
Wow. That's hard.
Here he is. Foggy is now on the board of the dead, and
It's official.
he has been killed by
Hairy Noz?
Hairy Noz.
They have names, guys.
If it's still,
Well, I
on the-
think-
like I don't know if it's on the shot, but Foggy and Little Foggy are not like just
They're on their side.
there, and now they will be
It's okay, we'll find a necromancer.
retired
So
by Foggy. You were loved.
Foggy.
this is a sad moment.
So long. It's on the so far, like that's all I'm doing now.
Alright, are we up for shout-outs now? Have we got any?
Well, we did
No,
the
the
shout
did them
out
already.
actually.
We
Oh
started
yeah,
with
were
the
there more?
shout-outs.
Was there another one?
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Oh, was that it?
Yep.
So
I believe we're
I
ready.
think we're good.
Let's survive!
Yes, I second that.
All done?
Yeah.
Great, guys. Hello again. Not that you left us. But, so, we'll jump straight back into it, guys. I need everyone to roll a rouse check.
Oh, bugger.
Now I've got to work it out.
You better be good to me.
Hunger 4, here I go.
God damn it.
Yes!
Hunger 4.
Hunger 3.
Mum, your dice failed me.
3,
4.
3.
3.
Yes,
4.
beautiful new dice. 2.
You have to rub it in.
I
I'm
don't
going to
even
milk
have a-
that for as long as
I don't even
possible.
have a ghoul anymore.
Okay. As you all begin becoming aware of your surroundings, first of all, you feel the coldness underneath you of the floor, and then you hear the sounds in the distance of cars and people. And for a moment, particularly with you two, your senses are alert and on, and immediately your eyes adjust to the darkness. Whereas you two, it takes you a moment to try and recall where you are, because your senses just one after the other flick on. Katia, of everyone, you become intensely aware of the sounds, very distant sounds of scuttling, of movement, of the movement next to you, but unlike the sound of the smell of whatever's scuttling within arm's reach further down the passage, you can, the individuals next to you, they don't smell appealing. In fact, there's no real scent to them. And you're acutely aware of it, whereas normally you're not. But you are aware of that tightening in your gut and the hunger that follows it. What are you all doing?
First, I checked if Thumbelino has a thumb.
Thumb has returned.
Do I need to rouse for that though?
No, if you want to heal the damage, you can. But your body will return. Oh yes, actually, yes, you do.
I think I do. I'll try and rouse for it. Why not?
You're alright, you're only on 3
Are you rousing?
I'm 2.
Are you recovering the whole of it, or are you gonna slowly recover?
I'm gonna recover the. Well, I'm gonna make a rouse check and see what happens.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So my hunger does not increase.
Okay. As you're watching and you're focusing on it, there's a strange tingling sensation, almost like the same sensation you used to get whenever you fell asleep on your arm, or you held it at an angle for too long and all the blood went out of it. The kind of pins and needles sensation that's going up your hand. And you feel a moment of horror and realization when you realize that the flesh is slowly knitting and reforming in a way that is 100% completely undeniably unnatural and horrific to watch. It's like watching body decay in reverse in rapid speed. Are you gonna finish the process?
I have finished it.
Finished it entirely?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I will flex my hand and go, oh,
I told you.
oh yes, well, good. That's better.
Regrowing a hand is considerably more unpleasant than the thumb.
Well, I'm glad that he didn't cut my thumb off, my whole hand off then. That would have been awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite disturbing just watching a thumb, to be honest.
Still worth it for that photo though.
So I was like, I'm gonna go in that direction, looking for an exit to see where we are.
I'm gonna need a feed soon.
I think we all will.
We all do. I start walking in the direction
Tell
I
us if you
believe
find any
most
workers
likely
down
an
there.
exit will appear. So, just continue.
Okay. And you're just heading off, or are you looking for people?
Sorry?
Katia, are you following them, or are you looking for people?
Did you make as if you didn't want to be followed? Are you obfuscating?
No. I'm just saying, I'm walking in that direction.
I'll come with you.
Why don't we all go? Let's just go out of here.
It's not difficult for you to find your way out. You've come close enough to the Kine visited area where you can just step through these old creaky doors, notice the warning signs that say that you're not supposed to enter into the area, and you step through it back into the working sewer passages. And it smells noticeably less repellent than what you just came out of, even though you are aware that each of you, stink, high heavens. It's like when you step into a clean room, you're suddenly aware,
Yeah.
what's that? Oh, it's me.
me.
Yeah, it's like that. And as you kind of inhale to speak to one another, it's that moment where it hits you. Agnes is following. She looks no worse for wear, although she is still silent, still sullen, still looking back and forth, and she doesn't seem keen on speaking to anyone. She's still clutching at the shovel that Jim gave her, and still just following obediently wherever you're going.
I'm going to have a little look, because they were talking about needing to feed. Are any of them looking a bit scary? Because I know in the past when Jim has got hungry, he has started to actively look scary to me.
Intelligence plus insight.
I never look scary.
Am I still at a minus to observations?
No, not now.
3 successes.
Katia is very... In her appearance, she's more sunken than normal. And the way that every single sound that goes off her eye suddenly darts towards it. It's not something that she's actively doing on purpose, it's like reflexive. Like if there's a ding of a pipe or something, her eye suddenly jerks towards it and then she looks back. It's almost like she's skittish and expecting something. But the way that her body is entirely driven on instinct, you've seen this before with Jim.
Okay. I'm going to be using my heightened senses and listening out for the sounds of any other people, like people who might be working in the sewers or anything like that.
The moment you put it on, you can hear the abundance of movement and people above. And you know now that you are closer and closer towards the surface than you've been in days.
Okay.
There is no sounds beyond the dripping of water, the running of water, the occasional squeak of a rat or a mouse somewhere close by, the chittering of insects that you can hear close by on the wall. And it draws your eye and your attention towards them just purely because of the insects that you encountered in the tunnel.
Yeah.
But where you are now, there is no kind in this tunnel.
Cool.
Not presently, but you are close enough to the surface where it'd be easy for you to get up there.
I'll say, well, should we go up then? And
Yeah.
Let me go first.
shouldn't I go first? I mean, or are you going to vanish?
Well, that's the whole point. Not a lot of people are going to be expecting anyone to come out from the sewers without any of the gear. So my choice is either obfuscate so as to not draw attention, or obfuscate so even if I draw attention, people would ignore it because they will see a worker from the sewers coming out.
I'll go.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
You
I'm sure.
hungry?
No, I'm fine, but I'm a bit worried about some of you, to be honest. But I think let me go because yes, I'll do it. I'm going to go up a ladder, wherever the nearest exit is.
Okay. You scuttle up one of the ladders, and it takes you a few moments as you kind of lift the manhole
So
off.
obviously I'll listen before I do that in case there's like.
Oh yeah, with your senses on, you can hear movement and bustling around, but with the intensity of your senses, you're able to pinpoint how close they are. And then after a few moments of gauging, you lift up the manhole and you note that you are not in the middle of a street, but in one of the passages just off. So there's still kind that could move back and forth down this thoroughfare, but you're not out there in plain sight.
Great.
Are you stepping up and out?
Yeah.
Now to clarify, was it your jacket or your shirt that was taken? Because
I think it was jacket when we did the description because it was the outer thing, and you talked about splitting at the back.
So as you move up, out into the passage and drop the manhole back down, immediately you are reminded of just how hideously stinking you are. The passages you come out. But as you're watching people bypass you, everyone seems completely intent on their own duties, whatever they're doing. They're moving back and forth. Some people with shopping bags move in up and down the street. No one seems to note your passage as they go past you.
Okay. Well, if it seems discreet here, then I guess I will signal. Are there places for like Moses, like where we've come out, where he could go and hide, or that are not in plain view?
From where you are, yes. There's you've got some rubbish bins on the side of a storefront they could dip into.
So I'll open the cover. I'll slide the cover open, and I will gesture for them to come up. And whenever Moses comes up, I will point as he's coming up immediately to where there's a place he can.
Okay. Everyone just roll Dex plus stuff.
Including me, or just them?
No, you're already up. Yeah. With your Auspex and heightened senses, it'd be easy enough for you to gauge when people are coming past.
Can I help them? Can I give them an assist? Because I'm up watching.
Yeah, everyone else can roll one more die.
Oh, thank God for that.
Okay.
Well, that's just another chance for a bestial fail.
Oh, sorry.
Only if you have more hunger dice to roll.
Sorry, that's
Nope.
one dice,
2 successes with no
Likewise.
unhappiness.
Two.
Sorry, I've got to roll all 3 hungers. And that's one cocked. Okay, so
3, I think.
3 successes.
3. Okay. You all manage to scuttle up. Every now and again, Benjamin kind of puts his foot onto the manhole cover, and as someone kind of boom against it and moves, you take that as the unspoken signal not to come past, but then as soon as the weight shifts, you all scuttle up, one after another coming out. Moses, the moment you hit the surface, you turn into the corner where he's gesturing, turn around the passage, and you're out of sight by the time anyone comes past.
Oh,
Checking street name.
Okay. There is no street name here, but how well travelled would you say each of you are? In terms of this area,
No.
you're least of all.
I grew up on that side of London, so on the west side. Yeah, so maybe.
Yeah, so travel back and forth. Katia, you would recognise. It takes you a few moments to place where this is. I mean, you're not in the most recognisable street, but after a few glances about, you do place that this is Reading.
Well, we are in Reading, so there's that.
now can I? I'll check. If we're talking quietly, I assume we can't be overheard here. I'm going to be looking.
I mean, unless anyone comes down here or you guys start speaking with volume.
Oh, if they come down, that's fine. But I mean, as in like, now it is a delicate question, but I'm assuming that somebody somewhere like us will consider this place theirs. Is that right, or is this
Yeah.
completely
That's
safe?
right.
Okay, my next question is, and this is another delicate question. I'm sorry. Is anyone, because obviously there are a lot of people around, and that can be very tempting. I'm just saying, is everyone all right, or is anyone, is it better for us to do something about it now, while we're in, whilst we're, we can control the environment, or is it better just to get out of here and get back to London? That's what I'm asking.
Well, we are kindred of London. I don't know if there is a similar figure here in Reading. If this is a Camarilla city, if we intend to do anything, we should present ourselves to the prince or equivalent. So, the safest thing to do is find a way to get out of here and back into Heathrow so we can get our cars and my motorcycle.
No.
Can you hotwire a car?
We could get a taxi. I mean, I know we all smell, but we could get a taxi. I mean, we'd have to pay them extra to let us in.
You'll fund that money because I don't exactly have much.
Or we could hotwire a car if you
Okay.
want.
What would you rather do? Would you rather pay
Case
the
in
money?
the area, are we in industrial,
leaving-
residential?
It's more commercial.
Commercial, okay.
Area. If you want to venture out, you can get a proper lay of whereabouts you are. Well, you can't really. You've not been to Reading, but Cassie.
Do I know if there's if this is commercial? Is there like a car park nearby?
Roll intelligence plus streetwise.
That's all 3 dice, I think. I can't even see the.
Tremere.
Difficulty is lower for you because you're
Oh, that's
from
nice.
Reading.
That's
so.
nice. That's one success.
I mean, it's enough. There is a multi-story that is close by. It's not vast, and from your recollection, it's not often used. Most people just parked along the side of the road if they
The
could get
security
along.
won't be too high tech.
It's somewhere where you could probably get a car, but best of all, because it's not often used, you could probably get a car without being observed. However, anything like this is going to run with risk. So,
Right. I know there's a car park nearby.
Right.
Not a bad one
Yes.
for what we want,
Right.
but we got to get there.
Well, I mean, we can walk to a car park.
Yeah.
It's not a
You're gonna have to hide.
Max of 1,000 faces.
Yes.
Without going hungry.
okay.
They're critical. Do I get
Immediately-
one back? No.
Moses, you begin appearing just as someone in a t-shirt, trousers, bit of a coat, and then the bag that you're carrying around your shoulder and your hands just changes to what looks like either a backpack, depending on who's looking, backpack or shopping bag, something similar. You look like you could fit in. You're very, very kind of just easy to gloss over,
Okay.
but
excellent.
it works.
I walk a couple of steps ahead of these stinky guys because they will draw attention, not me. No, I just let's go to the car parking.
So
Try to hold work.
I'm going to stay kind of near Katia, just in case she looks like she's losing it at all at any point.
I'm gonna stay beside Agnes.
Okay. Moses, you're leading this, yes?
No, I well unless
You're walking ahead of these guys.
but in the direction Katya
Okay.
said.
In which case, whichever one of you wants to take lead, whether through her direction or you taking point, someone roll wits plus stealth,
Okay. That.
and you'll gain +1 for Katya's direction.
Okay, cool.
So,
Stealth.
I'll let
Wit
him
plus
handle
stealth.
that.
so he's doing that, yeah?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Moses is
Yeah.
taking point. You're
I'm
basically
quite
just
close
following.
behind giving
Okay,
direction.
that's
Yeah.
wits plus stealth plus Katya.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh.
It's stealth. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh.
No. Okay.
So you're okay. You're okay.
It's-
4,
good.
5, 6, 6 successes.
Okay.
Is it
Critical
critical?
success.
Yeah.
Actually, there are 3 10s.
But one.
One in the hunger die and 2 in the normal die.
So I think off of our
Yeah, that's
interpretation of the rule, that's
Yeah,
critical.
That's
that is,
okay.
that's
Yeah,
a critical
yeah.
success and an extra 10, so that's an
Okay.
extra success. So
So-
4, 5, 6, 6 successes, critical success.
Without hindrance, without pause, with Katya's whispered directions, you begin making your way towards this car park. And as you enter into it, there are, between the different levels as you're making your way up, you spy about 4 different cars. All of them look... None of them look particularly flashy or eye-catching. They're all pretty modern, dated cars. Easy enough for you.
A 5-seater because it's for the 5 of us, including Agnes. So
It's got to be a family car.
I mean, you could fit into all of them. None of them are like SUV or large type.
yeah, but I'm
You could
also
all
not looking for
scrunch
like a. I'm not looking for like a very small 2-door
gotta
car
be- it's
that
gotta be
that
4
the
doors.
back is like super cramped for 3 people. You know,
So
it's a
we'll
normal sedan,
say-
normal sedan.
As you're attempting to break your way into a car, we will say it is Dex plus larceny. The difficulty is going to be dropped because of your successes.
And
Okay.
will I be able to aid him?
Yeah, +1 from Jim.
Gotta love it.
Sorry, you two.
Hunger 3.
Wits plus awareness. Ross.
We're on what?
Plus 1 die.
Including height
Plus 1 die for
If
Jim.
you've got it up, but
Yep.
you keep
It's
in
going to
mind
be
you
pretty
are.
mad.
You gave me.
Oh,
Oh yeah, not
Yeah,
so
you
much.
got plus
you
one,
get
me that?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can have it. You can have it up, and you can take the benefits when you want.
God.
But if anything's
That's
loud
almost
or
fair.
distracting,
Yeah, no, not in a. in a
One
particular
success,
match.
thank God.
1.
Wits plus
5.
awareness. Did you say?
That was so nearly a
Yeah,
mystical fail.
5 successes.
3 successes.
Okay. Moses kind of moves over, and as Jim's just watching, keeping an eye, every now and again, as soon as someone comes past, he kind of whacks the tire with his boot, and Moses just stops and just looks like he's someone that's trying to find his car. You know, it's pretty absent, but people just gloss over him as they go past, and it's very infrequent they come past. But you two in particular, as you're waiting over the ramp, you spy someone that is moving between people, and the way that they're looking between people, they're either kindred or they are a very shifty motherfucker. But the way that you were catching
Very
glimpses of
criminal
them,
look.
they're
like.
very pale. But the moment that you notice this, you both shift backwards just as this individual passes by the entrance. And if they do note you, or if they notice your passage, there's no outward sign of it. And once they've gone, you give the nod to these two. And the moment that Jim nods for Moses to go back over, he just applies his tool in, and car opens.
Man. Come on.
You hot wire, I'll drive it.
Okay.
So
We're in the back there.
yeah, we'll get in the back. Is Agnes getting in the back as well?
Agnes gets in the back with you, closest to Katya, and when she sits in, she's still got the shovel. And it's wedged uncomfortably in between.
You can put it in the
No,
trunk.
she keeps it.
Okay, cool.
She keeps
As
it.
soon as we start moving, I'm going to call Sabine.
Hot wiring would be
It will be.
You want it to be technology, don't you?
intelligence or
It'll be intelligence plus drive.
not
It's
larceny.
the
not...
working of the car, so you need to be able to hot wire it.
Okay.
Well, no. I just put larceny. We'll go with larceny.
Okay, cool.
I suppose either one can work.
Okay.
You know, I can't say no to that Carlos expression.
I know.
It's like, okay. That's 2 successes.
Okay. Takes a few moments of. And the engine just starts purring underneath. And as he wraps it and puts it away,
Even if it doesn't, like, if it's not the full ignition, if I just can hotwire it to get current to the dashboard and the systems,
Yeah.
and then we ran out of gasoline, let me push it, or whatever. Like,
The car does begin going.
oh, okay.
It's not a newish car. It's quite an old one.
Ah,
it's
that's
quite
simple, yeah.
hot wire.
Okay. You just go to the passenger seat and roll down the window. 'Cause you guys smell.
With your stinky passengers, you begin coming out of the box.
I'm the one driving. He's.
And I'm on the phone while he's trying to.
After a few rings, the phone does pick up. Hello?
Hello, it's Katya. Hello.
Katya, darling, what can I do for you?
I've got some rather distressing news. I've got. There is evidence of. Well,
Not over the phone.
Not over the phone.
something I need. Can I meet with you soon? Not like this soon, but I'm going to be back in London soon. Very soon. I really need to speak to you.
It sounds quite important, darling. In
It's
that
quite
case, I'm not at the Chantry at the moment, but I can meet you in the other mutual accessible location.
Better over to the Haven.
Would
if
you
want
like? Would you like to come to my place?
Your personal place or the one you share?
Oh, well, it's something the others will probably want to talk to you about as well.
I can make my way there. When do you expect to be back?
Roughly. Oh, I guess I'd have an idea roughly how long it would take from here.
Yeah,
About an hour and a half.
yeah, something like that.
Like
I mean,
2 or 3
Jim's
hours?
driving, so probably quicker.
Let's
You
call
need to
it,
shower in the process?
2 hours.
I can head over there in 2 hours, darling.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So occasionally I'll be saying things. I'll be making little noises every time Jim seems to be coming very fast. The traffic lights, things like that. You know.
So every now and again, you hear a kind of Benjamin squeak from the back.
And honestly, at times Jim's just grinning and enjoying every second of it. Just tease it a little more, tease it a little more. Because being careful driving, making sure he knows exactly what he's doing, but he's just teasing.
Text message towards the person that puts me in contact with Plucky Jake via phone, because he never carries a phone. I don't remember if it's Maurice or whomever. Whenever I try to get in touch with Plucky Jake, when it's not through the Shragnet. And you told me that he doesn't have a cell phone.
No.
That I get through to him. Well, I get to him through somebody else.
Yeah, you got a general number that you can send a
Yeah,
text to.
I send a text,
What
it's
do you
like,
want to say in the text?
Need to meet with Plucky Jake. It's a matter of urgency related to the boon he holds on my Gangrel coterie member.
Is that exactly what you're saying?
Yeah, it's as a matter of urgency, Moses.
Okay. You send that through. No initial response, and as you're driving, there's a good half an hour of you guys driving out of Reading, and then putting distance between the city and yourselves, enough that you can breathe a sigh of relief that you're probably not going to run into
How's
something.
Agnes? How's Agnes doing now?
Still not saying anything.
Yes.
You get the
Feeling
feeling that
any better or
having
safer?
just recently survived something as horrific and near existence ending as what she went through, all of a sudden to be thrown back into that incident and then having someone screaming that, you know, people are going to die and all the rest of it on top of that. She's probably not dealt with it well. I mean, she's not kind of out,
Yeah, not zoned out.
but
or
she's
anything,
but she's there. She's observing things going past. Any questions or remarks you say to her, she responds to, but otherwise she is just gone inwards. She's whatever.
Yeah,
Outward
she needs
social-
time to.
While
process.
we're travelling and we have this time, what's our plan when we arrive? Because it seems like
Cleaned up.
well, yes, I mean getting cleaned up seems very sensible.
I think my plan is first really is to do a similar sort of thing, not quite as violent to as we did the last time we were in a car, Ben. If I drop you off where we left the other vehicles,
Oh, Well, no, I don't know if you should drop us off exactly there because won't that be a pattern? I don't think we want to leave patterns for people.
What
to
you guys
follow.
are talking about?
We need to get rid of this car because, of course, this car is.
We don't need to
stolen.
destroy the car. Why don't we just dump it?
Don't destroy the
We
car.
can dump it.
Because if we burn the car,
No, not gonna
that's
dump it.
more likely to draw the attention to people who have seen all the strange incidences around burning
Besides,
cars.
your romanticism with fire is becoming a little bit worrisome.
Let's just dump the car.
I take the more crushed can out of my pocket and take it back. You think I like fire?
It's a worryingly dented your can. Worryingly dented.
So
Oh,
you
yeah,
know, you only
speaking of
have to
which,
press
where's
down
my
on the
lighter?
top, Jim.
My lighter.
I got it.
Now, we just need to just abandon it, and whomever finds it, he's gonna call the owner and give it back, and it's gonna be smelly, and that's it. I doubt they're gonna be doing
Alright.
much of a search.
Yeah, they'll probably just
Now,
see.
regarding this, I already sent a text to Plucky Jake, or to his secretary or whatever.
That's funny.
So,
No, or maybe it's not.
yeah.
Sorry.
So important stuff is to let him know what we found, and he gets the undiluted truth. It's like completely
Fine, we'll
frontal.
we'll report on the other thing we found to Sabine, and we don't have to go any further than that.
Yeah, it's just. Is it a call or a
Text. Your dentist will see you now.
my dentist? On my way back from Reading. Meeting in an hour in the Warrens. No, meeting in 2 hours at the Warrens? Question mark.
I assume I can't see him texting that.
Unless he's showing it. Are you showing it to anyone?
He's like, well, I got a reply from Plucky Jake.
Alright.
He will probably be available soon. Let me check when.
Okay. There is no response
Do
beyond
wanna-
the one that was sent to you. At least no immediate response.
My
Alright,
dentist.
so-
Yeah, it's. I hope the meeting is with Plucky Jake and not with Rusty Yo.
Benjamin and myself will speak to Sabine and show her the photograph.
Okay.
You can always make a copy
I need
of
a
it.
I need several copies.
that's
Several not. Two. One for Plucky Jake, and one for Constable Jacqueline.
Do you have a photocopy in your tech hub?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not surprised.
It's a photocopier. It's simple. The story does not need to include the Nosferatu warrants or anything that we found in the process, nor the...
It needs to include where we saw them.
I mean,
We were in.
Yes, in the tunnels between Reading
Yes,
and London.
that's-
I could be wrong because I don't really know a lot about this sort of thing, but I suspect that Plucky Jake may not want you to tell the constable. Because if anyone tells the constable, I imagine he won't.
That's why we're going to a meeting with him first.
Oh, right, yes. Which is you said you wanted to make a copy for the constable, that's all.
Yes, because if he says we have to talk to the constable, he's not going to talk to the constable alone. He's going to bring me because I am the witness.
Right.
So I need to provide her with something.
Now, are we all seeing Plucky Jake? Or
Yes.
is it just you?
Well,
No.
at least Jim,
You
Agnes,
two.
and myself.
Yes, you three. You are the ones who had the boon in the first place, so you three should see him.
Probably want to see all of us.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
he can't
It's like,
because I've already made
I
arrangements.
send a follow-up message.
'Cause
It's like, Warren's not a good place. Bring in a gangrel with me. In parentheses, boon
There is a
owner.
response.
Sorry?
There is a response.
Okay.
In brackets it says, read previous message, stop being dumbass. Close brackets.
Your dentist will see you now. It was like, my dentist will see me now.
Well, that's nice, I suppose. Look,
I have no
given the
idea
choice,
what that means.
Given the choice, I would much rather see Sabine, nothing personal. It's just that she doesn't scare me in the same way that Plucky Jake does. So I was just
if you're
thinking.
smart, she scares you more.
Well, then, well,
Ignore him. It's fine. We'll deal
so
with Sabine.
well, yes. Well, so we could do that, and you could, because we don't want to upset anyone, and then. So we'll go back. We'll clean up. We'll see the various people we have to see, and then.
I need to hunt.
As do I.
Do you want to? Well, we'll talk. We'll talk when we. Yes. Right. Good.
Anywhere in particular you guys want to head, or are you
I was
just?
gonna go home.
You're heading straight back to the Haven?
I will
Well,
grab that.
I'm assuming we're going to head back
No,
to
to
Heathrow,
Heathrow.
get our
yeah.
cars and
My
vehicles.
motorcycle and everything, and then we drive back.
Okay. With Jim's speed, it takes between about an hour and a half to get back. He's quicker than Benjamin would perhaps like. But he does manage to make decent time, and before long you find yourself pulling back into Heathrow. Your vehicles are where they were left. The moment that the car pulls in, Agnes gets out and starts making her way back towards the car. She's left the shovel in the car.
Brilliant.
Because we were in 2 vehicles before, weren't we?
Yeah, and my motorcycle, so I'm
I'm sticking to
doing the
Benjamin.
same. Yeah, your car, Will's car, and my motorcycle.
So, okay, yeah. Well, I'll get in the car and drive off.
Yeah,
Okay, is it just you and me in the car?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
I assume so. I think that's right.
In that case, I probably have a few things to discuss.
I send a message to Sexy Pearl.
Okay.
Plucky Jake said that my dentist will see me now. I think I'm too dumb to
How
understand.
are you
it.
sending the message? Just texting her?
Yeah, text.
Okay. The response is almost instantaneous. Didn't you recently lose teeth? Question mark.
Yeah. Whoa, sort of.
Where? Question mark.
I heart you. Thanks.
I know.
Boom.
Lossy romance. So as you make your way back towards the cars are exactly how you left them. They're in the same place. They're untouched.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm not too comfortable at keeping on with this Will's.
You know, as you're moving through, every now and again, Cathy's
doesn't
eyes
make
flash towards people that are moving
Yeah,
across the
still
car.
a hurricane.
I signal Jim to pull over so I can.
Sorry, are we all now in separate vehicles
Yeah.
doing our thing, or were you
Yeah.
saying that before we split up?
I was going to say before as we're moving it. No, not too sure about continuing on with Will's car.
Okay.
If she
Well, I
wants
think-
it, she'll ask for it.
I think you should return it. That would be a decent thing to do, wouldn't it?
Oh, I mean,
She hasn't expressed any desire for it back.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
the end of the thumb of your
but
side?
I don't know. I mean,
Benjamin, tonight's not the night to do
Yeah,
it.
we're
Okay?
not talking
Right.
about this now.
All right. No, I'm just saying that
Follow me.
generally you don't have to.
We have to meet
Ask
the
for
Plucky
your
Jake,
stolen car
the three
back.
of us.
Wait,
Head towards the Haven and talk
Wait,
to.
bit before we go.
Sabine.
We're going to need a photograph if we meet Plucky Jake.
No, we're needing that for Sabine.
If we haven't meeting
We are
now,
photocopying it at the Haven, then you are
We
leaving to
will,
see Plucky Jake.
we
okay?
will give him
Have a
the
plan.
photograph later.
Alright.
He needs the information now, and he's meeting with us now. Let's go.
He's going to ask why we don't have a
You,
photograph.
you don't have the photograph.
No,
No. Okay.
we're gonna talk to him.
Okay, cool.
He's gonna take
'Cause his main
what we
concern
say
is
at
the
face
warrants.
value. He better.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think photocopying. I mean, I wouldn't go to him without anything.
I'm just
Me.
going there. I lead them towards close to the university, the sewers. We park in the parking lot, take them to the same alley, down the sewers, and lead them in the same way
okay.
As we're driving back,
towards the room.
towards the Haven, I'll
Yeah.
probably Benjamin.
Yes,
Sarah,
yes.
You understand that, I mean, I am worried that if the photograph goes to Plucky Jake first, we might not be able to show it to anyone else. I worry that for the same reason, he doesn't want anyone to know about what's going on in the Warrens. They might, say the powers that be might see it as responsibility of the Nosferatu if Nosferatu Sabbat seem to be laying in their Warrens. So, in
Right.
other words, Plucky Jake might not want to be seen as responsible for this.
Well,
Which
yes,
is
that
why
would make
we
sense.
need to make sure we have the evidence to show to at least someone before
Well,
Plucky Jake gets hold of it.
I mean, I wonder. I don't know. I mean, I certainly would like to show. I think it's good that we're showing other people this is as a serious business, as you
course.
said. But I also wonder if we shouldn't hand over evidence to other people if. Well, I'm just thinking, do we want Plucky Jake to think that we've deliberately gone and told? I'm just thinking, do we want Plucky Jake to be
not to
angry
talk
with us?
about what happened in the Warrens, all right? And we're
Yes.
not going to. We
Well,
encountered these people separately to that. We don't have to go into that. We were acting on a boon, and
Yes.
this came up on the periphery. Okay.
Right.
So we're not doing anything to double cross Plucky Jake. My only concern is once he finds out, he
Yes.
might suddenly not want that information
Right.
around. But this is, even if he is mad at us for this, this goes beyond that. So be it. People
Right.
need to know.
Well, I mean, you know more about this sort of thing than I do. I don't know.
I don't plan to hand it over to Sabine unless she can offer some sort of help by having a copy of it.
I just think
we need to just see what
I
happens.
seem to remember Moses was very clear about, I don't know, that we had to be careful about our story, or it was all very busy down there.
We were in,
It's
fair. We were in the tunnels between Reading and London, acting on a boon. We don't need to say we were in the Warrens or investigating anything like that. We were there, and we came across them.
But surely, if we say the words, "We encountered these extremely dangerous Sabbat," and they say, "Oh dear, where did you encounter them?" We have to say,
in the tunnels between Reading and London. Because the photograph is not in the Warrens,
"Oh, well, so that makes it all right."
as far as I see it.
What about as far as Plucky Jake sees it? How do you think he'll see? If you think then.
Oh, I don't think Plucky Jake will be happy at all. But it doesn't matter.
So I propose perhaps that we talk to the significant people we feel we should warn, perhaps make copies of the photos, but the original photos, perhaps we should give to Plucky Jake.
All right. Well,
I just think as a sign of, I mean, I want, I don't just want to give some photocopy to Edmund, that's not appropriate, but once he's seen it,
yes. Oh, that's fine.
then-
We don't give them the original. That's fine. And we will tell them about it first before we reveal the photograph to see what their reaction is.
All right.
Because I'd be interested to see if Sabine does think I'm being dramatic or something.
Oh, whether she believes you at first. Yes. So we should clean up. Do you think?
Yes.
This is very delicate, and I'm sorry, and please don't get angry, and please don't break anything. But you said you needed to feed, and I just
I
wanted
do.
to check how. I don't think we have a lot of time.
No, we don't.
And I wondered if you wanted me to help you.
Like this, there's no hope in hell.
No, once we cleaned up, I mean.
I don't think we're going to have time before Sabine arrives. As long as
I think we might actually. I mean, I don't know how long we
we've
have
only
exactly.
got like half an hour.
Well, I think that's fine. Well, we could try. I'm just thinking you may. If you're fine, then that's fine. I don't mind. Also, your
hold
business,
on,
your
it's
business.
fine.
Okay, fine.
I'll
Good.
hold on, all right?
But if you were worried about it, I could help you. That's all I'm saying. I don't mind helping.
I'm worried about this.
Okay. All right.
Where are you headed?
Back to the haven.
Sensibly back home.
Back home. And Moses has gone off on his own to meet Plucky Jake.
With the other two.
With Jim and Agnes.
Jim and Agnes.
So where are the pictures?
Sorry?
Who's got the pictures?
With the master manipulator. Or me,
Katia.
actually.
Yeah, with him.
Okay,
No, with-
so since you two are heading back with Katia very, very infrequently looking at you, even when she's having a dialogue with you, her eyes don't go to you, they seem to be straying towards the window and people that are passing, and she's observing them with the same kind of intense staring that Jim often affords to people.
I'll say, with respect to my earlier comment about not being angry or breaking anything, are you very really sure that you don't want to do this before you meet Sabine to talk about this very serious business?
I don't want to be late for her. This is too important.
All right.
It's fine. I'll be fine. Everyone will be asleep by now. I'll be fine.
So I'll go back to the Haven then.
Alright, so you two start heading back. Moses, you begin leading Jim down the same passages, same tunnels that you went through earlier. And as you begin moving back towards that utility room, you begin feeling once more like you are being observed, and you are intensely aware of it, because every now and again you can hear coming off to one side, but as you look, there's no one there. Moses just continues going, he just ignores the sound, but you are uncomfortably aware that you are most certainly being followed, and you don't like the idea that there is someone at your back. And every now and again you stop and you turn, but the moment you stop, the sound seems to be coming off from your other side, and it's always at your back, and it makes you uncomfortable. But you press on just purely because Moses is moving off further and further ahead of you, until finally he comes towards a utility room, opens it, and again there is a solitary chair sat inside.
I'm also guiding, making sure Agnes is with us the whole time.
She is. She, like Moses, doesn't seem to be offering a glance towards the sounds, but she's moving off towards.
Sit in the chair, wait for Plucky Jake to come.
Okay. Agnes moves in as well, and she immediately goes to a corner and just sits. And then just says nothing. Every time there's a noise coming from outside, her eyes go towards it, and then she just, with her hair falling forwards, just returns to her inward focus. What are you doing, Jim?
I'm gonna kind of move behind the chair he's sitting and just start pacing up and down.
You're waiting there for a good 10 minutes or so.
Look for a socket.
Nothing in the room. This room is bare. It's like it's been stripped. There's no features beyond the chair you were sat in.
Okay. And just the light, no sockets in that line that feeds the light. Okay.
So you're sitting there for a good 10 minutes. You can hear Jim's boots upon stonework as he moves back and forth and back and forth. And it's getting to the point where it's probably more annoying than anything else, but he's in a pattern as he's moving back and forth. Until finally the door opens and through it steps Plucky Jake, carrying his shovel, scraping across the ground. He doesn't look at you immediately, he just listens and shuts the door. Well, welcome back, Moses. And you got Agnes back in one place. Congrats, James. What's so important? What did you find?
Okay. Regarding the Warrens, when we eventually got there, no hard drives in the servers means the information was stolen. The few hard drives that they had on their servers were mostly burned. And I managed to tap into a line that had a connection to a server where there was only one file that I could retrieve here. And I take up the laptop, open it up, and I put in the floppy and run the routine. So it's a file.
Ooh.
It's a file. Is it there? Cool.
Oh, that's
And you just access the name of the file, type it in, and I show the conversation. It's a log. I tell him it's a log from a conversation that took place between two people. These BJ and Newt. So I don't know if any of these names ring any bells. P. Wallace. Apparently there was an exchange, but it was not happening. They were talking about moving to New York City. Calabros, P. Calabros, less prickly.
Calabros.
Yes. Does that ring a bell?
That rings a bell.
Cool. Snakes be pissed about them New York City being too far and would take too long. Whatever it is that they're doing, you should warn Bob. I'm assuming that's Agnes's that asshole. Yeah, okay. He'll be pissed. Busy enough. Creeps visiting. Rather you and me. P. Wallace, Bob. Yeah, one would be.
Wait.
Sorry.
P. Calabros and
P. Calabros and P. Wallace. Yeah.
Prince Wallace.
Oh, who's Prince Wallace? Prince of Reading?
I'm assuming so.
Okay. Oh, Excalibur's a prince.
I don't fucking know. You tell me. You got the file.
No, this file is a conversation between this
And this was on the server.
And Mute. Sorry? And he was on the servers. Yeah, they both log in. They talk about an
Who the
exchange.
fuck's Mute? And he looks over towards Agnes, but she just kind of looks at him and then just says nothing.
Okay. So there's
I fucking said so. Who the fuck's Mute? What else?
Okay, exchange not happening. But Bob won't care. He rarely does, apparently. Problem. Puggle. Puggle? Who's Puggle? And I look at Agnes. Puggle rings a bell?
Glasses again, but doesn't say anything.
Yeah, Puggle warned about tunnel rats acting strange. Lights the face. Darling not come back yet either. So I am assuming this is a conversation between people that are not Nosferatu originally. Chris responsible, no. How do you know? Well, it's not them. Trust me, I have doubts. Your ass is online, but Mute already logged off, and then BJ's left alone on there. And I show him the whole thing.
Do you have any copies of this?
No, this is the only copy, and eject. It's on this floppy disk.
Takes it between two needle-like fingers.
There is a copy in the hard drive of the laptop.
Okay.
That's not the bad
anything
news.
else? Is there anything else I should know?
That's not the bad news. The bad news is that as we found this, we were being chased by something. Don't ask me what. I don't truly believe it, but apparently our Tremer does. Our Malkavian had some sort of vision of someone. Apparently there was someone or something loose on those tunnels. And we did have someone following our tracks. So when I was in that server getting that information, I was called off. I saw an Nosferatu, he saw me, and he just made abundantly clear that I should go with him quietly or it'll be all our asses gone. So I went with him down a passageway, and he was with two other Nosferatus. All three of them were asking who I was, what I was doing there, who Agnes was. They were using weird terms.
Like?
Canite.
At that point, I stop.
If it doesn't mean anything to you, because it didn't mean anything to me, apparently our Tremer thinks that is Sabbat. Sabbat speak. The way they refer to kindred is that, Canites.
Did they say anything else?
Well, they killed off Foggy, so I lost my
I don't give two
shit.
shits about your fox. Did they say anything else?
They said nothing. They staked me and left me there. Now, I believe we have a picture of them. When we were on our way back, we found this other Nosferatu. And I'm really trying to keep my cool right here. I'm inches away of losing my shit.
Okay, composure plus.
Yeah.
Let's say subterfuge since you're trying to keep your shit.
Okay. And that is 2 successes. Like, there is a Nosferatu that we found on the way out. And he had this setup with cameras and shit. He looked more like a Malkavian than other thing. And he actually bonded with ours. We have a picture that we can bring to you later. We left it with the Malkavian. We had different cards and I didn't pick it up at the time. So I'm gonna go to the Haven, look for it, and bring it back to you so you can see the faces of those 3 fuckers. One of them had bones sticking out of his body like a freaking porcupine. The other one was a tangling mess of hair, and the other one was pretty much skeletal.
Glasses at Agnes again. She's not looking at him. And looks back at you.
They were a damn freak show. All 3 of them. And this is coming from a fellow Nosferatu.
And there's absolutely nothing else. Now, before you answer no, think carefully. Anything else I should know?
The main area of the Warrens was burnt to a crisp.
Yeah, I gathered that from her face.
And bones and ashes were scattered everywhere. So you can understand that what you're holding in your hands was pretty damn difficult to find because the lines were also burned.
And the hard drives were emptied.
Empty destroyed or stolen. Some of them were missing.
I want a written report. Everything in detail. And it comes straight to my fucking self. Do you understand?
Yes. Now regarding this alleged Sabbat, should I run their faces through the Shreknet to see if anyone has seen them or heard of them? Because if they are Sabbat, I doubt they are from around. One of the reasons I came to the United Kingdom was no Sabbat presence, or not that it was known of. So they're probably coming from mainland. So
And you think these Sabbat caused the fire?
could be, but one thing that we know, clan comes first, regardless of Anarchs, Camarilla, or Sabbat. Now I've never had any Sabbat friends, but I do know that if it was the Sabbat, that conversation that you have there is from people that is not Nosferatu. I'm pretty certain. If it was the Sabbat, then we should be worried, or at least alert. And if it wasn't, then we should get looking into who might it be. So, should I run this by Constable Jacqueline? The Sabbat part, not the fire in the Warrens, not the destruction of her, potentially her sire and friends. None of that. No Nosferatu business. I was in the sewers, was approached by another Nosferatu. Turned out they use this term, and I'm feeling distressed.
If the Sabbat are involved, now's not the time to try and get leverage. Pass this on to Jacqueline.
Understood.
Make no fucking mention of the Warrens.
Never. I'll also try to get confirmation of whether or not these guys are Sabbat. I'll dig as deep as I can to find their identities or anything.
Do not put that shit on Shreknet.
Not
We're
gonna
not
do
the only
that
ones
thing.
that do.
I'm gonna ask around to our people first. I'm gonna move around the Nosferatu of the Camarilla here in London. I'm gonna talk directly to Carrion, to Maurice, to Goldilocks, to all of
If
them.
anyone knows who the fucking people are, I want to know their names too.
Cool. You
And
got
I
it.
want to know why they fucking know them. We might get on from clan, but there shouldn't be any of these fuckers in London.
You got it, boss.
Your boon's fucking done. I'll speak to that prick Toreador.
Thank you.
Agnes still needs... Do you need still a place to stay?
She ain't fucking going anywhere. I got a word that I want to say with her.
Cool. You want me to print a copy of that script for you?
Yeah, I want everything. And I want it with your report.
Okay.
By tomorrow night.
Do you want to keep the floppy?
Yes. Now both of you fuck off. I want a word with her.
Got it, boss. Let's get the fuck out of here.
He follows you to the door. He picks up Rusty Joe, and he turns back towards Agnes as the door shuts. You two have been driving back towards your haven.
Yes.
It's been, by comparison, a relatively pleasant journey. And when you return back towards the crossed hands, there is some movement within. Mrs. Morovsky is sat behind the counter, just speaking with potentially new customers who are just then just having a dialogue with her, and as you walk past she offers a wave. The individual just turns and glances over you. It's a young man in early 30s maybe, and he just kind of observes you as you go past and then looks back to Mrs. Morovsky. She's just speaking with him. What are you guys doing?
Cleaning
Going
up.
straight up to my room to have a shower and get cleaned up, presentable.
Head back up to your rooms. Remove the grime and the feeling and the stink of the worms and the sewers from yourselves. Takes a fair bit of scrubbing. Katia, when you return to your room, you start making your way up towards the stairs. And the moment you put your foot on the bottom stairway, you can hear coming from the other side of the door.
Honey, I'm home. And I just go in there.
The moment you go up and open the door, you find directly across from you, midway across the room, something swaying. And as you look up and focus on it, you see a stretch of rope coming down from the ceiling. A loose figure just hanging by the neck, and as the foot collides with the edge of the wall, from the vigor of the swing, and as you kind of focus on this hanging and deceased individual, you realise that the eyes of this individual are focused squarely on you as he sways and hits the wall, and sways and hits the wall, and sways, and then he vanishes.
I see dead people. Give me one old vampire.
Well, I imagine I take a minute to compose myself. But it's nice to see you face to face. Shut the door and just like stand behind it for a second, like. Spat worse. It's fine. And I will try and continue with my routine.
Okay. Takes you a moment to return to the door, and then finally when you open it you half expect to see this individual on the other side of it, but there's nothing inside. But then as you step further into your room, you glance up towards the beam, and there is a telltale wear on the exact same place where you saw the noose hanging from originally. And it's something you've not really considered before now. And it's very faint if you didn't know what to look for. But it's just where the beam is across the very top. There's one part where the corner of the wood is dented inwards very slightly, as though something's just been pulled down on it.
I make a note of this. And then continue to have a... This is before I've had a shower and cleaned up. Yeah, so then I will continue
This
doing
is before
that.
you went up into your room.
Yeah. Then I carry on as that.
Okay. After you guys have washed, showered, what do you want to do?
Regroup, I
I'd
see.
like to go back down to, via Benjamin's room, I'll head back down to the lobby to wait patiently.
So when you come down to my room, I'll say, are we going to make copies of these pictures now?
This is a good question, actually. Is there any way for anyone else to access the basement when you're not at the house? Even if it was, for example, for the tunnels or something?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
No.
That's fine. We'll have to photocopy them when he is back.
Yeah, fine.
All right. So we're going to talk with Sabine.
Yeah.
Is there anything I should know before? I mean, I know she said hello at the court, but I don't. Is there any, I don't know, manners or things that are specific to?
Just be friendly and polite.
Marvelous, right?
She's not going to threaten you or bully you or.
It's such a
or
pleasant change.
Or point shovels at you.
I should hold on to this moment because I'm going to need to see Plucky Jake soon, and
Yes. Make the most
and it's
of
going to be very different.
a nice civilized conversation.
Yes, I will.
Okay. So you head back down into the lobby. Mrs. Morovsky is no longer speaking to the individual, but she's just sat there going through the ledger and the book and just going over. And she offers you both a nod and a smile as you come through. The nostrils inhale almost as though she's... and goes back to do just to go through the ledger. She doesn't say anything. as you both sit and wait.
Yeah, I don't want to engage with Mrs. Morovsky. I want to sort of...
Yeah, no, she doesn't intrude. She's got now into the routine where if you come up and say something, or if you look, give her more than an eye contact, she'll engage you. But otherwise, she assumes that you all have your own lives and you will go off. Her grandmotherly presence is more just.
So is she coming here to meet us?
Yes.
Oh right.
In the area where we have breakfast.
I'll say
Sit down and wait for her in the table. That's it. Well, we don't have breakfast. The people have breakfast.
where are we going to talk to her that's appropriate?
We can probably use my room. It's on the attic, so it should be fairly private.
All right.
Okay. So you wait for another 10-15 minutes, and then after a while of just discussing between yourselves, the door opens, and Sabine is there with a long brown coat, which is done up and tied at the waist. And as she shuts the door and looks around at you both, nice earrings kind of hanging off. She looks like someone that is appropriately dressed for business and yet is fashionable in how she moves and what she's wearing. And she just closes the door and then smiles at Mrs. Borowski with a nod, and then after a few moments looks over towards you.
Good evening.
Good evening, Katia. And
Benjamin. Yes, we met at court. Yes,
did.
briefly.
It's a pleasure.
Nice to see you again.
Right. If you would kindly follow me, probably best to go up here. See you later, Miss Minovsky.
Later, Katia, darling.
And I kind of lead her up towards my quarters.
And Sabine goes with you. She follows the way up. Her eyes just dip down towards. Obviously the damage has been repaired, but there's the telltale mark. For someone that's used to looking at infrastructure, between brand new and restored woodwork and slightly old and faded woodwork. And she kind of glances at it as she goes past, doesn't comment, and just follows you up dutifully towards the top floor. And as you make your way back towards that stairway, you put your foot on it, half expecting to hear that noise, but there is nothing.
Lovely. Okay. And I hold the door for them both.
Okay, Sabine steps in and immediately she looks around. She says nothing, but she's noting and then just waits. She has a file in her arms. This kind of old leather-bound file, but just clutches it to her as she just stands and waits.
Right. I close the door behind them.
I don't think I've ever been in your room before.
No, I don't think you have.
I don't think. So this is a bit of a moment. Excitement.
It's a little bit psychedelic, I guess.
Is it?
There's like a few posters on the walls, a very large beanbag. It's comfy.
Yeah.
There's nothing weird or creepy.
I will take it in, particularly any pictures or images that are around.
It feels like a Human League album poster on the wall.
Nice.
Right, thank you so much for coming on such short notice. Of course, I wouldn't drag you here if it wasn't something important. Please, feel free to sit down.
She glances around.
There's probably like a desk chair, there's a beanbag,
She
there's
moves
the
over
bed.
and just leans against the desk, and then places the file down next to her and just puts her hands together.
Benjamin, would it be alright if I had the photograph?
Oh yes, right. I'll hand you the photo.
Thank you. Right, so myself and Benjamin as well here, along with we were acting on a minor boon earlier this evening and yesterday evening, in fact. The details of that aren't really important, but we were in the tunnel system between Reading and London, and one of the coterie, our Nosferatu companion, came across a few other kindred who left him staked and wounded and called him a Cainite. I assume you understand the gravity of this. And the way he described them, one sounded nightmarish even for Nosferatu, bones jutting out or something. Anyway, they killed his ghoul and left him there, and left and we, at a distance, had to follow in the same direction. And we came across a native of these tunnels, another Nosferatu, who seemed to have been down here for such a long time. They'd forgotten all human contact, but they had...
Remembered quite quickly.
Yes, he did. But the interesting thing was he had a camera rig set up, and I managed to find out that he got a picture of these Nosferatu, and we got that photograph. So we have a picture of these kindred. I'm concerned that the Sabbat might have found their way back towards London.
You have this picture, darling?
Yes, we wanted to make a few copies of it, obviously, for the constable. And I will show her a picture, but
She reaches out and takes it.
I trust her not to just steal it. This might be trusting of me, but...
And she studies it. And she studies it intensely. For a good 2 to 5 minutes, she says nothing. And there's just the heavy silence as you watch her eyes dip from face to form to face to form to face to form and back. Almost like someone that's committing faces to memory, and everything about them, their stance, the positioning of them. It seems like she's analysing everything. And then after a few moments, she turns the picture and hands it back. Have you shared this information, darling, with the kindred to whom you owed the boon? I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume it's Plucky Jake? The kindred that your coterie would probably owe a boon to that required you to go outside of a city is probably not a minor boon.
Well, as far as I am aware, the other 2 members of our coterie are telling them this information at this point, yes.
I won't pry, darling, but this is obviously, if it involves the Sabbat, it will need to be shared within the proper channels, but to whom you've shared it with will dictate to whom we now speak.
As far as I'm aware, Plucky Jake knows, and you know.
I see. It wasn't you that owed this boon.
No, it wasn't. I was there because I suppose, perhaps arrogantly, I wondered whether there might be something in it for me.
And was there?
Well, there was this. I don't know if we had all not been there, it could have turned out differently.
To be honest, darling, if this was not merely a Nosferatu matter, and if it hadn't already been shared with Plucky Jake, perhaps we could have leveraged it, particularly if I knew about it and your sire did not. However, it would raise the question of what we were doing in the Warrens. But I believe you and your coterie have done the right thing by informing Plucky Jake, who would have found out one way or another. But if this does indeed suggest that the Sabbat are not only in the area, but within a stone's throw of London, I suppose it needs to be shared.
You mentioned the proper channels. Might I ask who you would advise us to tell at this time?
The constable. You wouldn't be able to get an audience with the prince, and to be honest, if for whatever reason this information was in any way inaccurate, or it's probably best not to bring something to him when he's only going to relegate the information over to the constable.
That's what I thought, and I am sure that when the others return, that they will be informing the constable, or at least they will be told that we shall be, because this is
I agree.
something.
It needs to be shared as quickly as possible. Even if we're wrong, we'll face more ridicule if it turns out to be correct and we've not informed the right people.
That's why it was important that we got the photograph.
So we should take this to the constable then.
I would recommend that.
Right. Okay. There is one other thing I wondered if I might ask you about, if you wouldn't mind. There was something else there. I don't know if it is. It's not the Nosferatu in that photo. It's something else. But it was very.
Yes, there was.
I have a sketch of it.
Yes, and you also have.
And I have some photographic evidence as well.
Yes, there was,
I don't know how it connects, but I think it's important.
there was another entity in the tunnels. I don't know if it was either. It had either been down there so long it was mindless and it was Nosferatu that had gone completely feral. Or. I don't know. We don't have enough information, but. Like I say, there was this other.
I just wondered if this means anything to you. I'll hold out the sketch first. So that's the best. I was drawn in a hurry, I'm afraid, but that was the best I could do at the time.
Benjamin saw something before it happened, you said? Or you saw a version of events?
Yes, I did. In fact, I started to see it before we even went down there. But not in totality. I saw its hands, and then when we were down there, when there was that tunnel, I saw it, and that's what it looked like, and then later when we found the photo that you just saw, I also saw some other photos as well, and I'll take out the two and present them to her.
She takes both of them.
I will look keenly for a hope that she looks like, yes, these look like good evidence of this thing.
She's someone that contains herself extremely well. To be honest, darling, they just look Nosferatu-esque. I wouldn't say that they strike me as anything particular in terms of...
Yes, but the perspective of the camera is quite far away, so it doesn't give an impression of its size. It was so wide. It was so... To Nosferatu grow that large? I mean, it filled the tunnel on its own. It was huge. And
how wide were these tunnels?
They weren't enormous.
I'll gesture with my hands to show the width.
I've seen kine that size, if not larger.
Oh.
Granted, deformed kine, but...
So you just think this is a particularly horrific Nosferatu?
Did it act in any particular way, or
it
express any particular prowess that suggested it wasn't kindred?
I don't really know. It was extremely strong, and it seemed unconcerned with.
Nosferatu do have a talent for being particularly vigorous with their strength.
Oh, well, perhaps that's what it is then. I don't know.
It was located in the Warrens, but I mean, is there anything about it that struck you as extraordinary? Or?
Well, it's
aside from its appearance.
I suppose only its appearance and its strength and its speed, and
it was actively stalking us.
But I just wondered if you'd heard of anything like it. But it might just be an Nosferatu, I suppose.
I mean, if it was particularly hungry or particularly old or of a questionable mental state, perhaps that explains why it was pursuing you. Maybe you were simply in its domain, and unlike the more civilized kindred up on the surface, it's...
This is a very slight digression, but something I wanted to share with you anyway, on the note of inhuman things. Turns out that our neighbour, the following domain, is a mage. Were you aware of particular mages in their whereabouts in the city? Well...
This... Darling, might
sorry,
I ask...
This is a lot of information in one go.
Oh, you want me to...
Yeah.
Right, yeah, no, of course. I'll, can I have the...
Oh, of course.
Thank you. Right, I'll be in my room?
Yes.
Right, all right.
20 later.
Nice to see you. Shuffle out.
I love that you ask if you are going to be in your room. It's like, oh, that's your room.
When the door shuts, her expression darkens, but she says nothing. I think you'd better tell me everything with regards to this individual.
I will. I wasn't, unfortunately, well, perhaps fortunately, I wasn't there when they encountered it. The members of our coterie, the Nosferatu and the Gangrel, attended a meeting to find out who was in the neighbouring domain. I believe it was secured through one of his Nosferatu contacts. I don't have any names for you, I'm afraid, but this individual resides in the hospital. And they described a room in the hospital where this entity spoke through the bodies of either very ill elderly or recently deceased. I'm not sure, I don't think they were sure. But they spoke as one voice, and they called themselves Magi, and from what I understand, and I would only share this with you, from what I understand, it demanded a price in a small amount of blood from them for essentially stepping inside its territory and acting inside its domain without knowing who they were. But obviously now they do, and they were very keen to work together, or at least to continue a line of contact with the other two if more payments were to be made. Of course, I discouraged this as soon as I found out. And that's as much as I've really heard about this entity.
Your coterie mates have become more of a liability than even I thought they might be. If this is indeed true and your neighbours are Magi, then you in particular, darling, are at considerable risk. And if you are at risk, then the clan is at risk.
Yes.
The moment that your ancestry will be discovered, because secrets have a nasty way of getting out, this will become a very dangerous matter for all involved. I have no direct authority over you. I request that you make no contact with these individuals. You ensure that your coterie stay away from them. And as soon as is possible, we will find a solution to dealing with this or these individuals. Which members of your coterie gave blood?
Jim Roywoods, Gangrel, and Moses Nosferatu.
You should be exceptionally careful what you share with these individuals. For now on, question their every intent.
This was
There
my
is no
concern.
guarantee that they are of their own minds. I do not. The idiocy of the young.
I'm such an idiot.
Well,
As far as I'm aware, no one else knows about this at all. However, it is, as I'm sure you would assume, that Benjamin probably tells his sire everything.
darling, as you are well aware, the prince is still considering the appointment of myself or your sire for the primage.
I know, yes.
With matters as delicate as they are, we need to tread carefully, and in this regard, particularly with the regard of the Sabbat, when you go and speak with the constable, I ask that you lead the discussion. Make it sound as though this information is coming from you more than your coterie mates. If we can try and leverage this to ensure the proper appreciation is given to yourself.
Yeah, of course.
I've made no secret that you and I are on friendly terms, so your success will work
Of course.
for both of our benefits.
I'm sorry. All I seem to be able to do is bring you bad news.
The world in which we live is littered with bad news, darling. I don't tend to trust good news anymore. I'm of the age where good news is just very, very well disguised bad news.
Yes.
At least with bad news, I have more information with which to deal with it. Now, as soon as I ascend to the seat on the Primogen, we will be better disposed to dealing with the individual in question, the Magi. And perhaps even relocating you from this place.
That might be for the best. There's also the fact I don't know if there are any more Thin Bloods out there. This place is definitely a central hub of...
I would consider the Magi to be more of a pressing concern.
Certainly, but every little thing.
Well, you've certainly been busy in the last few days.
Yes, very.
Well-
Sorry to bring such dark clouds to your day, night.
Not at all, darling. I'm glad you told me. But I won't go into detail on the matter now, given the other priorities. However, I do request your assistance. There is a property that I'm looking to manage, in a sense, that is of particular importance to someone very close to the prince. I'm looking to secure it in order to gain favour, and I believe you might actually be able to assist me in this regard.
Of course.
But this is a matter that we can discuss at another time.
Of course,
For
yes.
now, you need to meet with the constable.
Yes.
Although, darling, I would recommend you perhaps see to yourself before you do so. You're looking...
Yes, I know. I wanted to speak to you with this news first.
No, I appreciate that, darling, but
And the constable won't, yes.
very few things matter more than the beast.
Yes, I know.
So I would advise you as your friend, tame it, and then see to other matters.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you needed to tell me, darling?
That's everything.
Tread very lightly with your, not all of your coterie, but the other individual in particular, this Benjamin. No, I think enough has been said with regards to his sire. I'm not quite certain how far the apple falls from the tree in that regards.
Yes.
I don't know the individual, but I'd rather tread on the side of safety.
Yes. You're right. I'll keep an eye on all of them.
Hopefully they'll do you some good, darling. I'm just erring on the side of caution. This is a very rare opportunity for our clan. I'd rather not have it wasted because we were too worried about other individuals' feelings.
You're right. You're right.
Was there anything else at all?
No, I think that's everything. Please, I'll escort you out.
Takes up the leather folder and moves away from the desk. As she moves towards the door, she stops. And keeps going.
I walk her back downstairs.
She goes back down the stairway, down the other one, and as she moves past Mrs. Morovsky, she offers a smile. Mrs. Morovsky, oh, lovely lady, and goes back to her newspaper, and then she steps outside, offers you another nod, and then heads off down the street at a walking pace, just moving off.
I will go back up to see Benjamin.
Benjamin?
Hello.
It's only me.
Oh, come in.
Right. All sorted. She knows what she needs to know. Like I say, we need to go to the constable about this.
Yes.
But I probably need to feed first.
Right.
How are you doing?
Oh, fine. I mean, well, I wouldn't turn down a chance to feed, but I'm all right.
You've changed.
Well, actually, I have changed. And you know, I was thinking that there's do you find when you do things that you know that we couldn't do before, that you feel different? I mean, like in all ways. Like, so you said once that you could see things that other people can't see.
That can certainly make you feel different.
Well, yes, but I mean, but when I see things differently, it makes me feel, I don't know, more alive and alert and things like that. And sometimes when I do other things, I feel differently too. I might feel safer or I feel stronger, and it does make me feel different. It's I just wondered if do you have that?
Yeah, a little bit. Depends on the situation.
So we need to go to the constable.
Yeah, we do. We should wait for the others to return, perhaps.
Yes, and I suppose from what she said we should probably do that first, because I did really want Edmund to see the composition of the photos, but I suppose that could wait.
I think the constable needs to come
Yes,
first.
no, I do I think that? Yes, I think that's probably.
It's probably about this time, unless you guys were heading anywhere else, that you two probably
Yeah.
would return back to the Havens were. So, as you step through the front door, Miss Morolski looks.
Oh, hello, Jim, dear.
I passed.
I
Go straight past.
I go straight past.
Awfully rude.
He goes back to the booth.
I go into the basement immediately. I guess I don't even show in the main hall, so this shit doesn't even see me. I just go main entrance, turn like sharp left down the stairs, and let him go through the hall and perfume the whole way. While I go directly to shower and write. Before I shower, I write to Sexy Pearl. When can I meet you? Face to face. I need to ask several people questions. Next line. This is on behalf of Plucky Jake. Cannot be overstretched.
Response again, almost immediate. Same place as last time. When?
Tomorrow.
When?
If it's 8, so a couple hours after sundown. 9.
Long pause.
Sorry?
Long pause. Long pause. 9.
9.
Don't be late.
Won't.
Sexy Pro has logged off.
I grab one of my burners. Dial Marcus' number. Because if I call for my number, he's not gonna pick up.
He's lonely. Good evening.
Evening, Marcus. Moses here.
You can almost hear the exhale. Good evening. What can I do for you?
I'm really sorry to bother you this time of the night, but there is a matter of great urgency that I have been instructed to pass along directly to Constable Jacqueline. This is an instruction I received from my primogen, Plucky Jake. Would you be so kind to allow me a way to meet with her before the end of the night, so I can give her the information as soon as possible?
Would you say this is urgent?
It is. I would not be bothering you if it weren't.
It's
and
not me I'm concerned for, but if this is particularly important,
I'm sorry to put you in a bind. Like
it's not me. It's where she is. She's not a particular fan of being disturbed. However, if it is important,
Oh, she will want to be disturbed for this. That much has been implied by my primogen. she will want to know this as soon as possible. I just need a couple of hours throughout the night so I can get a report ready. It is that serious. I will be presenting her with information in the more structured manner, so she has all the information from the get-go.
I
It
will
would be
have to
very-
message you back as to which one she is at presently, but I will.
Marcus, I'm not gonna pretend that you're doing me a favor with this. I know how you feel about me because I've been a dick to you in the past. But I do appreciate the work you're doing with this. And I do know that you can get it done. This is something that, should I wait one day, could mean trouble in a city-wide area.
Do a persuasion plus. No, charisma plus persuasion check.
That's charisma. That's charisma. That's hunger dice.
Yeah, me too, mate.
Hungry man.
I am resembling a Bruya more and more with this. I see myself
You don't need to
critically
just go out and
failing, and
feed.
they're 2 successes.
Wow.
2 9s.
Okay.
Pretty close of being a messy critical. I know, but this could have potential ramifications. Even if there are not ramifications right away, the fact that I could be withholding this sensitive an information for just an extra day could mean trouble. I would not be calling you or putting you.
Do you know
In this
where
situation.
the Saint Marylebone Church is?
If it's a Catholic church, Moses most likely knows.
I can't guarantee that she's still there. Just
Will she be there by the end of the night?
very, very likely, unless something else comes up. But that is about all I know.
Would you mind, Dickie, if I were to call you a few hours earlier, or an hour or so earlier, so you could give me a heads up as to whether or not something important came up and I should deviate my route? Just touching base with you.
Yes, if it's required, but if she is in this location, unless something particularly important comes up, I can't imagine she would move.
Yeah, of course, but that would save me the trip of going there and not finding her in the first place if you already alert me of her absence.
If you do intend on going there, I'd recommend going as quickly as possible.
I'll try.
Now I really must go.
Thank you very much for your help.
Hangs up.
Have a nice evening. I go straight into a shower.
Okay.
Get decent, clean clothes. I gotta dress up for this shit. And that's when I just... clean it, put it there, hang it. Okay. Time to go out. Get the constable. This shit's gonna get real.
Okay. You getting anyone else? Or you going straight out?
I go to Benjamin's room immediately.
With us both.
Yeah, we're both.
So casually, you were both there. It's like,
Before that, Jim's got some quick shower, quick change, and has being able to find those two. Anyway.
Okay.
You're back.
either me or him. We're gonna end up being in the one.
So we basically all together.
Yeah.
Are
Jim
we-
would have gotten there slightly before.
Yeah.
Are we
Oh, so should we talk to Jim first then?
Yeah, Jim
oh.
would be first there.
Like up to 5 minutes before.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
because I'm gonna be doing other stuff.
Hello, Jim.
Hello?
Everything go all right with
What happened?
Well, I think Agnes is going to have a conversation with Flecky Jake Shovel.
Oh no.
All right. What are we doing?
We are to inform the constable.
Good.
To
Good.
inform
Good.
her.
Good. 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 Good.
How
Good.
did your meeting go?
Similar. She likewise recommended we go see the constable, so that seems like the most sensible course of action. But I really need to feed either on the way or first.
We get that on another note. Miss Morosky has been calling me Jim, not Roy, as I introduced myself to her. That poses a serious problem for me.
Oh.
Right.
Well, could she just be getting confused? I mean, could we just say,
Could you
just say,
it's Roy?
just say, oh no, it's Roy. Well, you know.
That's more that you have all been referring to me as Jim around her, and to the kind I need you to.
Oh, so we should be very clear that you're Roy.
Yes.
Understood.
Okay.
Understood.
To help explain that, tomorrow evening, there's something I'll need to show you. Make sure you are aware of Ben. You're right, Katy. You know the drill is. Ben, you need to see this.
Do I need to prepare anything for this? I mean, when you say you're going to, this is going to just be a nice talk or a visual display. It's nothing.
Shouldn't physically harm you.
No, that's not very encouraging. that sounds like someone who's saying that actually it is going to be awful. So I just want to. It's just something that we're going to. It's just going to involve words and no pain, or actually, I'd like all the details. I mean, I don't mind if it's just. Will I be hurt? Will I be threatened?
You shouldn't be.
Will I be in danger?
You shouldn't be. I can never guarantee anything. We've seen Sabbat recently.
Yes, but
Keep your voices down.
right. Okay, fine. You can show me this business, whatever it is. That's fine. Oh, hello.
Hey, Ben. Wow, full house.
Yes, come in.
Do you have the pictures, please?
I do. We were going
Yes.
to go and show them to the.
I've been asked to do a written report for Plucky Jake.
Yes.
I was thinking of doing one as well for the constable.
That sounds like a very good idea.
After my conversation, because I just had a word with Marcus, and he advised that we headed there as soon as possible. And if she's not there, we'll come back. I'll write the report and look
Fine.
for her at the end of the night.
Sounds like a good idea.
All right, fine.
The
but
original should go on the constable's report.
we need to copy it first, then.
We will.
Do I have time to go out and feed? Because I need to.
I think we all need a hunt just in case.
I'm not gonna hunt, but if you guys need to and you make it quick,
I'll be as quick as I can. Please wait for me.
okay, I'll be downstairs trying to get things ready with Benjamin. Do you have the pictures?
Yes. I have pictures.
Please.
I'll see you. I'll see you chaps back here.
We will actually kill time by making photocopies of all 3 pictures that he has, because I asked him to show me the pictures that of the thingy, and it's like, I'm not buying it, but you still make photocopies. So photocopies of all 3 pictures go in different places in the report I'm gonna write to Plucky Jake.
I'll say. Do you think the constable needs those two as well as the?
No, Plucky Jake asked for a detailed account of tonight. That includes telling him of your vision, and these pictures support your our evidence.
I want to show these. The second 2 pictures essentially. I want to show those to Edmund.
Oh no, you keep it the originals.
Oh fine. That's fine. Yes.
I'm making copies for Plucky Jake, and I am also letting him know where the originals are going. So now that I know, Edmund and Jacqueline are the ones, respectively, for the monster and the alleged Sabbat. And I'm starting to draft mostly the encounter with the Sabbat people. That's how I started, and by the time, if they're back, I just print that with the picture and take it as a very rough recount of events and a picture of the 3 guys, but making the emphasis on the conversations we've had and the word canine, the series deformities.
So,
Like
so
basic
you're
stuff.
going off hunting
Yeah,
without us?
while you're writing, unless
So
you have a voice
that's
interesting
going to be
coming with.
an hour or
No,
2.
no,
I
if
don't
you're
know
not
how
I'm
long.
going hunting.
All right, so we're going to try and pop out while
The
you're
2
writing
of you are going to be.
So in that case, if I'm hanging out with Moses, I'm going to make. I know I'm going to get a copy of the Sabbat picture, but
You're getting a copy of the Sabbat picture.
But I'm going to make a sketch of the Sabbat picture.
Okay. So
Because it'll be better quality. Well, I'll be able to emphasise features that won't come out on the copy as well. Because I'm assuming these are old school photocopies, not modern day ones, right? So
This is a toner like old
right. Yeah.
early 90s discount or
So
something.
that's why I'm going to draw it. Yeah.
It's gonna be grainy and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's fine.
So I'm gonna
So
maybe
you
Max
guys are
might be
printing,
fine.
you guys are starting to head out
Yeah.
for hunting. So as you head back down the stairs, the moment that you reappear, Mrs. Morovsky looks up from her book.
Katya, Jim.
Are you still...
Jim,
I will look
see
at-
again, not calling him Roy.
We're just popping out for a bit.
While I remember, darling, your what was her name? Someone was asking after you, darling. Can you help me up, please?
Right.
Yeah. So she shuffles up out of the chair and moves
When she stabs
over...
us.
Sorry?
This is when she stabs us.
It was me all along.
That's it.
Moves over
That's
to the
it.
counter and opens up the book where she notes everybody that's that come in and use, and pulls out a bit of paper and
Your sister. Was coming to ask after you. I said that I'd pass on the message. Sarah?
She came here.
Yes, darling. I've been speaking with her.
Oh shit.
Thank you
I've
very
been
much for passing that on. We should really head out, shouldn't we, Jim? Fuck.
I've been trying to let you know, but you keep ignoring me. Can't pass on messages when you're racing off up the stairs. I can't follow you. I'm old.
It's all right. We'll attend to it. Don't worry. Thank you again very much.
It's worth.
Guide.
As soon as out the door, Jim like, hits the wall and just.
I know. I'm sorry. I fucked up. I was surprised.
How could she know? This. I got everything. She's. No. This can't
Look,
be. This can't be happening.
one thing at a time. One thing at a time. First things first. Deal with the immediate issue, then we can talk about that sort of thing, okay? Deal with what's here now, okay?
I'm not sure you quite understand the situation.
I know that you can deal with the situation better if you're not hungry. Come on.
And we will pause there, guys, and bring it to the end of episode 14. So
Yeah, 14.
yeah.
14 episodes in.
Yeah.
Still on living.
See,
Yeah.
set his sights on your special things now. He's already had me and Moses.
And so
It's
now.
your turn.
And so now, people have known that, of course, I touched on the
No one is
updated.
safe.
No one's safe.
I
Next.
touched
I'm
on
working my way through.
to
Yeah.
Sarah.
Thank you very much for joining us, guys.
Yes.
We will all see you next Monday at 7 p.m. as normal, and thank you very much, and we will see you then.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this episode of Blood on the Thames. If you'd like to keep up with all the latest news, follow us on Twitter and Facebook and ShrekNet, the links to which are down below. And remember, if you want to join us live, be sure to tune in every Monday at 7 p.m. on Twitch. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.